Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Experience traditional Brazilian cuisine, served with the hospitality that Texas is famous for. Here at Texas de Brazil, you simply turn your card to green, and expert carvers serve you fine cuts of beef, lamb, pork, chicken, and Brazilian sausage. Turn your card to red when you want a break. Then repeat. Make reservations now at texasdebrazil.com. Experience traditional Brazilian cuisine, served with the hospitality that Texas is famous for. Here at Texas de Brazil, you simply turn your card to green, and expert carvers serve you fine cuts of beef, lamb, pork, chicken, and Brazilian sausage. Turn your card to red when you want a break. Then repeat. Make reservations now at texasdebrazil.com.
All right, I found it.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the ISCA's 2025 Super Cup Series Texas de Brazil 156 at the Circuit of the Americas. I am Joe LaCastro, joined in the booth tonight by not only Big Al, but also Sheldon Adkins. Boys, are you guys ready for some road racing? Big Al, how about you?
Oh, you can't. You gotta bet your money Big Al's ready for some road racing, man. There's nothing like turning left and right. We're gonna be doing that all night. Hopefully mix it up a little bit, man. Maybe we can get some crash events going on.
I think it's going to probably come down to that at some point. Sheldon, you pumped for COTA?
Absolutely pumped. Excited to see these guys get away from the super speedways and get to a track where their skill behind the wheel and with the brake pedal and the throttle pedal are going to be important.
Oh, it's going to all come down to it tonight. This is new to me, obviously. ISCA, the roster. I don't know who's going to be the master tonight of the series, but we've got a couple of names up at the top that during practice have been standing out a little bit. Probably going to talk about that as the things go on during the warm-up. We got 5 minutes of warm-up left, so we're going to be kibitzing here a little bit as things go on. But let's take a quick look at the track conditions. We're doing the West configuration, so not the full configuration of COTA. As you guys might know, there's a big back stretch on this track that we could be using that we're not even touching. So we're going to use the west configuration. That's 2.26 miles. We're just outside the city of Austin. 3 sets of tires behind the tracks. 34 laps. So let's talk about stages. The stages are 12 and 22. You're going to be good on gas for the first 2 stages at least. But then during stage 2, we're going to have some kind of green flag pit stop situation there with about 34 laps of fuel range in these things. The air temp is 73. The track temp is 82. You probably can't get much better than that. It's a little bit cloudy right now, overcast at the track. Middle of the afternoon. I think it's about 2:30 in the simulator, something along those lines. So it looks like it's going to be a nice, cool day. No heavy sun beating down, but these guys, if you slam the brakes, it's not going to matter how cool it is outside. These tires are going to heat up fast. So I think as we get things started here, I want to touch base real quick on the current standings. We've had a couple of races under our belts, and right now the Thursday Night Cup Series has a few standouts in terms of how things are going. Patrick Gitter right now up at the top with the number 1 spot. He's had 3 top 5s. Matt DeCiani in 2nd place. Derek Heitman in 3rd. Brian Johnson in 4th. Chris Johnson in 6th. Randy Mullins Chris Johnson in 5th. Randy Mullins in 6th. Tim Wortman in 7th. Paul Hill in 8th. Brandon Pasalacqua in 9th. And Randy Drumhiller in 10th. So up at the top of that list, we've got DeCiani, who's currently doing great times tonight. I don't know if any of you guys have been watching the warm-ups here, but DeCiani is towards the top of the list. He's been battling it out with Joey Preby and Paul Hill for the overall top spot. Let's talk a little bit about who we think is going to win tonight's race, though. And I'll give each of us a chance maybe to wax a little bit poetic about that. I think it's going to be Derek Heitman. Derek Heitman's sitting number 3 right now overall in the standings. He's gotten 1 top 5. He hasn't won one yet, but based on where he was sitting, he's right now pretty high up on the list. I think that he's got a little extra in him, and I think that he's going to be able to take it from there. Big Al, who do you think is going to take it?
Man, I got my one and only. I'm going with Patrick Gitter. But I'm also going to tell you that one guy going to be looking out for tonight here, that's going to be Paul Hill. Paul Hill's also going to be a guy that's going to be up there, but I'm going to stick with Gitter because Gitter's going to get it done.
All right, pretty good. Sheldon, what do you think?
Oh, I got to go side with you for, I think, the first time in history since we started calling together. I got to go with Derek Heitman. I feel like the preparation with his organization, I feel like the driver talent, I feel like it's all there. Not as high up on the speed sheets as you'd be expecting with me pulling this one out, but you know what? I think that he's holding back a little bit and saving it all for the main show.
We talked a little bit about that before things went on, and I think you're right. Let's see. And this might be a first for us. That's true. I think we've never actually called the same person yet. And down in the truck, Kobe Jordan, the Aussie. Brandon Pasalacqua, excellent choice right now, sitting 4th in practice with a 1:35.606. So that gives the production team their overall picks. And I'm going to pass things over to Big Al, actually, for the keys to tonight's race. Give us some advice for racing at COTA, Al.
All right, keys for the race tonight. Avoid those off tracks. Anything's going to put you out there in the sand traps, that's going to be bad. You got to be watching out that you keep it between the lines tonight, because one thing's going to happen is you get over that line, you're going to pick up an X. Too many X's, going to put you behind the wall. Next is patience. You're going to have to wait for the race to come to you. You're going to see a lot of guys try to do a lot of different things, because remember, when we get into road racing, very rarely do we have a caution. So drivers are going to have to actually utilize that time that they get under those cautions and those stage breaks to make sure they get everything done that they need. And next, you got to set up passes. Road racing is one of those things where it's not like when you're racing in an oval. An oval race, you can pass in the backstretch, you can pass in the corners. Very limited amounts of places to pass here on this road course. So you got to make sure that you go back to the patience part and actually set the guy up so that you can pass him at the right time, because that's going to be the key to keep that car safe and out of the wall as well.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Those are some excellent pieces of advice for road racing. Now, I've I watched a recent race here, and Big Al, I think that you touched on a really, really important point, and that is watch for those that set up that pass. And turn one here, oh boy, boys, tonight I think turn one is going to be a place to watch for some big dives and potentially some wild passing. But let's go ahead and let's take a look at the qualifying here. Let's follow around a couple of cars and see who's got it in these first two. I think we got 2 laps of qualifying here, so we're going to go through a couple of different people as we watch. Right now, it's going to be the 87 of Joey Preby.
See him out there trying to get those tires. See him out there trying to get those tires hooked up. A little bit of warm up before he sends it down in the corner. Trying to get those pressures built up. You don't want to wear them out too much, but you want to get them up to temperature so that you can have the best opportunity to get a good launch here. Preby kind of going for it right now, a little earlier.
Another thing.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Another thing, you got to watch the temperature because these guys, when they set up these cars for qualifying, it's not going to be the same setup they're going to be racing with. Guys got to hit those points, and you got to make it count. And guys, I don't know about you, but one of the things I say is you get that feeling of looseness. Guys aren't going to feel that they're in control of the car, and that's a lot for some people to swallow. How about you guys? You like that loose feeling?
I absolutely love it. Aside from Sonoma, it's a nightmare. But Watkins Glen, other road courses I've ran at, Daytona, love having a car that's a little bit more on the free side. Roval, it's a blast.
I can't say that I've pardon me, I can't say that I can speak too much to the difference. I probably try to drive a little bit on the tighter side overall and use a little more brake than I have to, and just try to bite the corners a little bit. And I really freak out when I lose when I lose a little bit of traction. That's when I feel like I've gone, just a bit too far rather than being perfectly on the line. But I'm not a very fast driver, so probably the last person that you guys want to hear with opinions on exactly how to tackle this in terms of a looser or tighter setup.
Yeah, don't listen to me because those that can't talk about it, right? And that's what we're doing. We're sitting up here in the booth looking down at these guys, talking about what it takes to get it done. I used to pride myself at being a road racer, and then I've been a NASCAR fan my whole life. So when I came over to iRacing, NASCAR was there, and man, and I was hooked up like a coon dog on a good smell. You know what I mean?
My bread and butter was always short tracks when I was consistent on here.
For me, my bread and butter was the super speedway. I liked to be able to open it up, get up to top speed, and just focus on drafting.
Yeah, I hate super speedways. I mean, I love super speedway racing, but that everybody shows up. It's like the holidays at a car lot. All of the crazies come out. 'Cause everybody wants to drive the super speedway.
Currently looking at Vincent Crowe in the traditional mane and tail colors that we've seen him in for so many years now.
Love the shining 47 on the side of that. And Crow is on, let's see, this is his second lap, I think.
Yeah, waiting on these times to start coming in. Time's starting to populate on the board.
There we go. That's what I'm looking for.
I like what I'm seeing out of the 47 machine.
Yeah.
He's doing a really good job, getting that thing right up there on the rumble strip, using every inch of the racetrack to try and launch an apex. A lot of guys kind of come in a little too shallow here at the road courses and really tear the tires up and kill their momentum. Vincent doing a good job making sure the car's staying opened up.
Yeah, wow, he's flying. And that's a deceptive corner there, because you feel like you can hit those S's at speed, but then you've got to avoid that left, that sharp left there. That just bites you so hard.
Yeah, right there, that shot gave us a really good view of how much patience you need to get through this speedway too. Those S corners there, like, you can tell he's barely on the throttle at any point through there, just using enough to keep the back tires loaded and keep the car underneath them, but not enough to, send it and throw himself into a bad predicament.
This is just qualifying. You know, they've only had one lap to get the tires warmed up. There's no traffic around them, so they get a chance to really bite that curve and move in really fast and hit it hard. And it's because you feel like if you're going to do it during a race, it's going to scare it's going to come back and it's going to kick you back. And
That
that's
car,
wow.
22's off track there. But see, one
Yeah.
thing too, gentlemen, if I may, it's this qualifying run is going to scare the heck out of the drivers because those tires are cold as heck, and they don't even start to warm up till you get 3-4 laps on them. So you're going out there running on the coldest Goodyears you got, trying to make it happen in a loose condition on a relatively cool track. Yeah, that makes for a pretty scary day.
Oof.
Especially when it comes down to these next-gen cars, if you don't have the luxury to countersteer like we used to be able to with the Gen 6 and, the COT before that. As soon as you get that wheel yawed out just a little bit, get that back end stepped out from under you, it's going to come right around. There's nothing you can do to stop it.
Independent rear suspension.
Seen it happen here countless times, unfortunately.
Take us back to a solid axle. I'm done with it.
Yeah?
Please.
I don't know. I think with the direction that NASCAR is going, though, it just seems that axle that we got is probably going to be essential. It seems like they're putting a lot more street racing into the schedule.
Huge lockup there for the 11 machine.
Yeah, it's Matthew Cisna. That was the front wheel just stopped spinning as he came right up into that turn. And now he's got hot tires trying to, that's an off track. Or is it? Is that an off track zone? I think it is.
What he's going to want to do after he's done out here is go and bump down that brake bias a little bit, maybe bring down the master cylinders. Trying to get lock up just a little bit less. It's a real touchy threshold with these next-gen cars and braking.
Yeah, and also you're trying your best to kind of keep it into bounds because, 17 turns, one accident's for nothing. So that's actually going to make it a little bit sporty as well.
That's a fast car right here, 92 machine of Clayton Hoffman.
He's zipping around there. Yeah, every turn he's had the back end just come out a little bit. He's got that little touch of looseness that we were talking about earlier that might be benefiting him. We'll see what he looks like when he gets on the board here in a little bit. Or does he have everything on the board already? I don't see him yet.
This right here, this could be a good dig for him this week too. Clayton, everything I saw last year in NIS and A-Open, very much a long run kind of driver. Hates, the short runs with the road courses being very limited on cautions. Could be a very good night for him in the points.
Yeah, Clayton is definitely, he is one of the better drivers here in this league. And when I say that, I don't necessarily mean, the total package. This guy comes in every week. He is ready to go. He is poised. His eyes are on the prize, and you can never count him out. Now, his biggest enemy, though, has always been Clayton Hoffman. So we'll see if the 92 can stay out of the 92's way tonight.
That is the case for some of the best drivers out here that we've seen. And if it ends up being the case for Clayton Hoffman, I guess we're going to find out. Where did he? Yeah, it looks like, unfortunately, he didn't crack into the top 12 at So let's see, where was he on Daytona?
That's right now.
Yeah, he was number 12 at Daytona. Okay.
I was fortunate enough to be a teammate with him over at Nitro last year, and guy's got a lot of talent and puts in a lot of work consistently.
Well, let's see what he can do tonight. Hoffman did a 137.611.
That must be his first lap.
Yeah, Derek Heitman did a sub 1 minute. Is that even possible?
That's a negative.
Yeah,
I was going to say.
You have to add about another 30 seconds to that one to even make it plausible.
Oh, that's a huge loss for Hoffman right there, right off the track.
Yeah, that's going to be the thing, because, guys, in order to make it count, like I said, that's 17 hard laps right there, turns, rather, where you got to stay between the lines. In some places, there's no markers, so you get out to just a little bit, and that's going to be it. And I think that's going to be something that we're going to see a lot of tonight as well.
I think you're right, Big Al. I think that the off tracks. Let's talk a little bit about. iRacing is doing the officiating for the off tracks, and the current number of incident points before you are disqualified is 25. Over 60 laps here.
Yeah, it seems a lot, but it's not.
I know. And here comes the anthem.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Driver, start your engine!
All right, everybody, let's get ready to play some ball. Here comes the grid for tonight's race. We're going to get things kicked off with Paul Hill in your pole position. Bacon, Zelenka on the outside. Number 3, it's Brandon Pasalacqua. In 4th, Matt DiCiani. 5th, Joey Preby. 6th, it's going to be Derek Heitman. It's all good. 7th, we're looking at Vincent Crowe on the inside. 8th, Patrick Gitter. 9th, Tim Wortman Jr. And 10th, Clayton Hoffman. Take it away, Big Al.
That's going to put Josh Schaffner coming in at 11th with Eric Clean beside him in 12th. 13th place shows Brian Johnson with Greg Wachinski from G&G in 14th. 15th position, we got Mark Sanchez, another G&G driver, with Ryan Strunk, on his south side. 17th place is going to show us Chuck Burley, and then with none other than Kenny Powell in 18th. And then rounding out the top 20, we've got John Bender and Jeremy Clapper Newell.
21st, we got Alex Carr with Greg Carr to his outside in 22nd, followed by 23rd, Kevin Zosiak, and 24th, Paulson. 25th is going to be Randy Drumheller with Jose Medina in 26th. 27th is going to be Dave Hughes Jr. with David Gervais in 28th. And running out your top 30 is going to be J.C. Evans and Matthew Cisna.
And we have a nice, perfect 30 there. It looks like there's going to be a slightly shorter formation lap as opposed to a full lap of the track at pace, which would be a little bit much. But right now, the drivers are all getting ready, and looks like where are our picks at right now? Derek Heitman is sitting at 6th. Brandon Pasalacqua is at 3rd. So Kobe's pick is sitting in a pretty good position right now to stay ahead of the madness that is turn 1 at Circuit of the Americas. And who else did we have on there? We had Patrick Gitter. He's sitting at 8th right now.
And I'm going to tell you what, turn 1 is going to be, that's going to be the boot shaker right there. And plus the matter, these guys are not getting a lot of time to warm the tires up. Guys are going to be going to this really cold, so that first lap I think it's going to be slicker than snot on a brass doorknob or something like that, however they say it. But yeah, that track's going to be loose.
That's pretty slick, I gotta say. I don't have much experience. I'll leave that to you. But it sounds pretty slick to me. These guys, if they don't treat turn 1 with respect and really follow that key to the race that you mentioned, Big Al, and just are patient, I think that it's going to be a short race for some people. Sheldon, do you agree on that?
Oh yeah, no, it's very easy on these road courses, especially a track as technical as the Circuit of the Americas, to put yourself in over your head, get in a bad position, and take yourself and a handful of other guys around with you. And also that you see the kitty litter on the outside of the track, the sand pits. You're gonna have a lot of guys out there building sandcastles at some point tonight.
I think you're right. It's just going to start happening as the tires get a little hotter. It's going to start happening. We'll probably see it happen more during stage 2 as people try to push their time out on the track as far as they can. But you'll also see it when you just miss your braking zone. And I saw that happen about 3 or 4 times the other night in these Cup cars, where guys just missed their braking zone and went sailing, as Christopher Cross would say, and not in a good way. Here we go, coming down, though. I think we're about to get ready to get things started. The start-finish line will be just around the corner here. And we have a race at Circuit of the Americas, the Texas de Brazil 156, the racers of the ISCA. Out in front, it looks like it's going to be a shootout between Paul Hill and Bacon Zelenka for who can make it to the top of that hill first. There goes the pace car. We're looking for the green flag. There's the lineup. And we are go, go, go at the ISCA live from Circuit of the Americas.
3 wide charge, almost into turn 1 there. Is everybody gonna make it through?
Wow. Just about. Oh, what a traffic jam it is. But it looks like everybody has made it through so far. At least that front group. Now that things get sorted out. But
one around. Oh, Heitman's around.
Heitman's around. There goes the pick. Oh, we cursed him good, didn't we? Out there in front, though, Paul Hill and Bacon Zelenka are holding on to it. It is the double commentator's curse. Ooh, Heitman backs up a little bit onto the track. He's just off the racing line. Hopefully he can get things back under control here. Don't know if he hit the wall, but he's back in, and let's get a quick replay of that. Whew! Big Al, how'd you like that
I think
start?
he was reacting. Yeah, he checked up there to avoid the 86 and got a little bit of a punch from Vincent Crowe from behind.
I'm going to tell you, I was watching it from the bird's eye view, and although the start was clean, I was watching a lot of drivers trying to jockey for that position. You saw a lot of different lines. You called it 3 wide yourself. First lap, though, I got to say, so far, we're still clean. You know, Derek Heitman, he's just got to get that out of his head, get back in the seat, get back on the track. I think he's going to be just fine.
All right. Well, let's see if he can do just that. Right now, Heitman looks like he's fallen back a pretty good way now. He's down 23 positions. He's in 29th position, but he's got time. We've got 60 laps at Circuit of the Americas, so you know things could go a lot of different ways. Up at the front of the list, however, Matthew Cisna looks like he's made his way to the front. Dave Fuge Jr. is also up there as well. J.C. Evans and David Gervais. So a few different names. Dave Fuge is around. He's sideways. I think that was Dave Fuge, the 22.
Yep. Sure is.
Yep, he's sideways for a second there. Not looking good for Dave Fuge. We're still green.
Well, I was watching Dave in qualifying, and he was definitely having a hard time. Now, remember, we're still under the first lap of this race, so tires are relatively cool. And even when the tires warm up, the biggest thing that drivers are going to have to watch tonight is keeping the tail end of the car in line. It's going to be real easy for it to step out, and a lot of that's going to dictate just how aggressive the drivers take these S's, man. A lot of turns here tonight, guys.
Yes, there
Looks
are.
at that incident. It looked like he just got a little too deep into that corner, and maybe grabbed a gear a little too soon. Looked like it was wheel hopping, shattering the back tires, and around she went. Right now, Paul Hill.
Around she went.
Right now, Paul Hill up here in charge of this thing, though, with Zelenka right behind. Pulling out a pretty nice advantage, though. Slowly, the 26 machine is starting to work his way past.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, the patience. But I'm gonna say this. Well, I forgot what I was gonna say, but it was important.
That's okay. I'm sure it'll come back through, Big Al. Don't you worry about that.
And it did. And the two parts to this. One part is, we got another problem. We got the main and tail car, I guess.
Vincent Crow.
Vincent Crow just ate a little crow there coming around that turn. But a big point on this is, guys, when you spin out, when you lose control, those are all X's that start to add up. The second point is, to the guys that are in the back, a lot of pressure's off of those guys now, because now they've got nothing but time to figure out what their strategy is going to be.
More problems for the 47 machine. Oh, wait, nope, never mind. That's a replay.
It's all right. That's the way back machine there, showing us what went down there. Vincent Crow now down 15 positions to 22.
I wonder what happened there.
Oh, he's in VR apparently. That could have been that. As a fellow VR racer, let me tell you, racing in VR is a thrill and it's very realistic. But man, if something goes wrong, you are hamstrung immediately.
Yeah, it's a zero fail environment. I mean, nothing. Anything goes wrong and you're done, because it's even a reset. So a lot going on there. I feel you on that. But guys, here's another thing though. I'm watching the field here. We got some guys whose lap times just are not as, consistent with others. So we're finding a situation that I believe we're going to actually have lap traffic sooner than later on this run.
Now we can see.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a huge issue for Paul Hill and Zelenka there at the front too, once they start to catch up to these guys, because I can't think of much more terrifying than lap traffic anywhere. You take lap traffic and put them on a technical road course, and that's a death wish.
Oh my goodness, that sounds terrifying. And you're right, they're only about 0.4 of a lap behind the lap traffic there right now. Paul Olson currently at number 30 on our list. He's just now coming down towards the end of his third lap. And it looks like Paul Hill is about halfway through his fourth as we get things going here. Remember, we're only going to 12 for stage one, so we're already a third of the way through stage one here. Eyes on the 26 car. That's Paul Hill up in front. A good snake here. Bacon Zelenka right behind him. Matt DiCiani a little bit further back. Let's see. Excuse me, that's
also,
Brendan Pasalacqua there.
If you're the rest of the field, you're not really liking what you're seeing out of Paul Hill on the 26 machine. He just ran his fastest lap on lap 4 here, and that was 0.3 of a second up from the second fastest car on track.
That's a fast that's a fast car. A lot of everybody's got to be thinking that whatever he's feeding that thing, it's working. That it's the skull on the hood that makes it faster.
Yes, absolutely. And the purple.
Both make everything more exciting.
Fastest color in the field. Let's look for a little. This time, looks like everybody started to either pair off or get sort of isolated here now as the race goes on, and we're getting closer and closer to that moment that the whole field is saturated. Now down to about, let's see, just about 0.2 of a lap now between Paul Hill and David Gervais now, who's in the 30th position. So everybody is very spread out. Like you said, Big Al, these are guys who have got lap times ranging from about 1:52 to 1:35. So there is a
Yeah.
pretty sizable chunk of a pretty sizable gap in terms of how comfortable people are. And I know it's of many people's opinion to skip a road race because it can be such a divisive field. You got people who practice it, people who don't, and if you don't practice a road race, you just get absolutely smoked by the people who've spent any amount of time here.
Yeah, and the one thing I'm going to say about that is you got to jump directly on that horse, man. You can't not avoid the road races because I think that's going to actually help enhance your skills in all kinds of racing. It's a lot more to racing than just turning left, and not to say that that's not technical.
One car ran a little bit further in the back. So the 24 machine.
That's Kenny Powell. Let's see what happens. Oh, I see the problem here is he teleported.
Yeah.
Let's get another look here in the Wayback Machine. Try to see if we can see what happened with the 24 of Kenny Powell. My guess is that he came out of those S's and just the car got out from under him.
And it's so easy to do right there. Very light slide he had through center. And no matter what he did, he couldn't pedal it to get it right back to where it needed to be. Did a good job keeping it off the fence, though, because that could have been a lot of damage to the front of that 24 machine.
Yeah. Yeah, that takes, there's a certain amount of wherewithal that just says, put on those brakes, sit still, and make sure you're good, get your angle right, and then get back on the road. And he had just enough angle there to avoid putting the nose of that car into the wall when he was turning it back straight. So good for you, Kenny Powell.
Don't worry, he'll be back into the wall soon enough.
Woo! Big pass there, the 26 now. That was the 26 making the pass.
Don't say that out loud.
We're just way through these lappers. You see the 3 machine doing a good job keeping it up out of the racing groove, staying out of everybody's way. Not everybody's going to be so courteous as we get later into the stages of this thing, though.
I think you're right. Who's going to be the first one to start doing some door knocking, do you think? I don't know who's the more aggressive racers here yet in the ISCA, so I can't make any predictions there.
I think a lot of these, there's such tremendous respect amongst the drivers here, man, that guys kind of know where you're at. And honestly, if you get caught at this point, you should just yield, honestly.
Right. Speaking of getting caught right now, Bengen Zelenko is holding off Brandon Pasalacqua, who's been very close to making a pass here. Pasalacqua just driving it hard, keeping it very, very close on the fender of the 45 now as we cut back through. It looks like these guys are about halfway through the lap now. Pasalacqua is looking for any place. We talked about how there's not a lot of spots here to set up a pass, but if there is one, he's going to find it. Coming down now in the second half of this lap, Pasalacqua still hard on the fender of Zelenka. This is going to be this is the battle for second right now. So Paul Hill is going to have to deal with whoever wins this fight. But this fight is going to keep these two from Paul Hill until it gets settled. So let's see how this gets wrapped up here.
And I'm going to tell you who this works out for. This works out really for Matt DeCiani because while these two are otherwise engaged, it's allowing Paul Hill to drive off in a way, but it's also allowing Matt DeCiani to be able to close that gap to actually be able to contend for either third or second place even before the stage is over.
And Pasalacqua also trying to drive for redemption after last week at Atlanta, led so many laps in the early stages of the event, just to have the race slip away from him in a team v team fight, really doing everything he can to try and get up here and knock one off the boards here at Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah,
showing great diversity too, to be able to go and be so good at a super speedway and then come back the next week and be in the top 3, making moves on second place at a road course as difficult as this one. It's a good sign.
Oh yeah, Brandon Pasalacqua is definitely one of the heavier hitters in this league. I would say he is definitely within the top 3, if not the top 5. Speaking of team versus team, looks like one of the G&G guys is behind the wall. That's going to be the 43 of Paul Olsen. Looks like he is going to possibly be hanging it up for tonight.
Oh, what a shame. This course is going to eat him up. I think we're going to see a few people tonight, unfortunately, end up behind that wall. And if that's the first one to go, then good luck. Godspeed to you, Paul Olson. Well done for coming out tonight. We've still got more people down on the track right now. Paul Hill taking it away. He's got a bit of a gap right now between himself and Bacon Zelenka, who is still trying to fend off the advances of Brandon Pasalakwa, who just refuses to give up. It's like Cyrano de Bergerac out here. That's a deep cut reference.
Kenny Powell just made the pass on Randy Drumhiller, but unfortunately, Matthew Cisna was sitting right into corner of turn 1. I guess he got the bull by the horns as Powell makes a way by both in order to advance himself 2 spots. That battle right there, I do believe, was for 25th.
Let's see that right now on the replay. I've also got some red lines here from Mark Sanchez and David Gervais. We should take a look at those too in a minute here. But here's Powell. Whammy!
And that's
what
another
a shot.
That's another 4 X's on the boards. You got to keep a count of those as well.
Oh man, yeah. If only I wish I had a tally for that. I got to say, unfortunately, I don't have an easy tally for the incident count on the field. But that's a 4X right there, at the very least, for the 24 of Kenny Powell, and it's probably going to also be some damage to the vehicle. So let's see how that handles for him as he continues these laps going around here.
Yeah, and that was just a very shallow entry from Kenny in the 24 machine that got him there.
Well, I think he might have cut off. Yeah, I think he was probably so intent on passing Randy Drumhiller that he might have just drove a little bit too deep into that turn, and then at that point there was nothing he could do because he was already in the door system. But Brandon Pasalakwa, he is definitely putting the moves up to the 45. This battle right here is definitely not going away, and it's got to unnerve Bacon just a little bit, because guys, when you're out here and you're trying to run your fastest laps, but you got somebody that's right in your keister like that, it just doesn't feel well. And now here comes the 11 of Matt Cisna. This is going to be problematic in the turn. Cisna's out of the way. Zelenka's on the run. Pasalakwa's on the chase.
Right now, I think a big part of what's holding up that 6 machine's forward drive, too, though, is that little bit of dirty air that he's getting from the back of Zelenka. We heard them talk about all year last year in NIS and they Open about how effective the dirty air was at these road courses compared to how it was in years past. So you see him, though. He's trying to taper that nose just a little bit extra off-center of the back bumper of the 45 machine. Try and get a little bit of clean air to that splitter to try and keep that car glued to the track. But in doing so, he's also sacrificing his corner entry.
You know, one thing
I can see it.
He was losing line of sight because he's not actually able to see his points because he's got an eye full of bumper in front of him. So that's definitely got to put into it. Now it gets a little cozy on the bumper there. Just a matter of time before he actually does make that bumper felt.
Can we get a little bit of a ride along right now with Brandon Pasalakwa and just see things from his point of view for a little bit? It'd be interesting to see exactly like what Big Al was just mentioning.
There we go. Here's a shot.
There it is.
Not enough to move him out of the way, though. Just enough to scare him. But that's what you got to do if you're Brandon. You got to get in his mirror. You got to get in his head. Make him make a mistake, because you're not getting by him if he doesn't make a mistake. Got to throw the bumper to him. Try to get him to throw a line.
Yep. Just show him the shovel. Don't hit him with it. Just show it to him.
Hey, can we go back and check what happened with Gitter?
Gitter?
Yeah, I do believe there was contact. Okay.
We'll see if, unfortunately, that I don't think we have any replay for Gitter, but we'll keep an eye out for the situation. He said he might be a little bit of bumping and grinding back there in the 6th position, potentially.
Yeah, there was definitely contact. I'm just trying to figure out. 3 wide into the turn.
Wow, what a dive.
There's Gitter.
What a dive.
Use the bumpers.
Absolutely.
Use the bumper here last lap. See if he does it again here. Do that fast chicane. Not able to get to him quite yet.
He's got him now, though.
That's the problem. You know, years past, you could get all over somebody's rear bumper and it doesn't affect you. You see him get right up to the bumper, get in that pocket of air, and it kind of pushes the nose out from the 6 machine. Really makes it difficult for these drivers here. It's a good shot, though.
Pasalacqua is just trying to stay in that rear view of Zelenka. They're getting around lap traffic okay. I've got to give it to Pasalacqua right now because he is staying so close to Zelenka. He's reading this racing line through the car, and even despite any off track there for him, that's a 1x. Even despite the situation that he finds himself in, he's driving the car very hard, and it's just been really impressive to watch so far.
Yeah, my only concern for Brandon right now is just as much time as he's spending right there behind him. You can see these kind of chattering those front tires a little bit. Really wonder if he's starting putting a little too much heat into them. That'll drastically affect the handling later in this run.
Well, I'm definitely going to say one thing. I've been watching a lot of things going around this track, and lap traffic is not making it easy on these guys. A lot of guys actually running into a lot of situations where they're receiving incidental contact or, just getting held up because it's busy out here. And there's not a lot of places to pass, but you got a lot of battles that are going on.
And that's kind of the beauty of road racing, is that you get a bunch of individual battles all sort of
spread
out. Oh, is this it? Is he
I think he said he's going to give him a shot here. Give him a huge push on the 45, almost around, a little bit of contact. Both of them keep it under them somehow. But Pasalacqua's going to move up to second, but it ain't over.
It's not over. They're back side by side. Oop, he cuts Zelenka takes the nose off of Pasalacqua just barely. Wow, what a fast trade of positions. Just briefly, Brandon Pasalacqua takes second, loses it again on the inside there, and it's going to be Bacon Zelenka back out in front, and the battle continues.
I think both drivers actually
There we go, huge dive in, and a huge shot to the rear bumper.
I think both drivers displaying their discontent with the other right there, but I do believe this is just getting started right now. And if one of these two doesn't back off, I think it might risk taking both of themselves out. Zelenka overdrives the turn.
What a gentleman, Pasalacqua.
Well, I think
Pasalacqua lightens up.
Yeah, I think Brandon's backing out. I think he's understanding, like, hey, man, what are we doing? We're at lap 12 of 60. It's just a great opportunity to tear up some equipment here. So
that's going to be the end of the stage, actually, guys. Let's take a second and have a look at how that went. We had Paul Hill across the line in first place at the end of that stage. Bacon Zelenka battling it out with Brandon Pasalacqua for second. Matt DiCiani with front row seats to that battle in fourth. Joey Preby in fifth. Patrick Gitter in sixth, Clayton Hoffman in seventh, Tim Wortman Jr. in eighth, Brian Johnson in ninth, and Josh Schaffner in 10th to round out the top 10 at the end of stage one. Not bad, not bad. We're going to take a little commercial break, folks, and when we come back, we'll give you some stage one thoughts, and we'll start up stage two. How about that? Here on the ISCA Live. So don't go anywhere.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Experience traditional Brazilian cuisine, served with the hospitality that Texas is famous for. Here at Texas de Brazil, you simply turn your card to green, and expert carvers serve you fine cuts of beef, lamb, pork, chicken, and Brazilian sausage. Turn your card to red when you want a break. Then repeat. Make reservations now at texasdebrazil.com.
Welcome back, folks, to the ISCA Live Texas de Brazil 156. You're live with Jolo here up in the booth, Jolo Castro, joined by Big Al and Sheldon Atkins and Kobe down in the truck. Big Al, Sheldon, hey, let's get your thoughts on stage one of this race so far. How about we start with Sheldon this time? Sheldon, what do you think about stage one?
Well, it looked like it was going to be tame for the most part. Ball ran off to one heck of an advantage, but that battle between the 6 of Pasalacqua and Zelinka in the 45 was just absolutely impressive to watch. Those guys were absolutely leaning on each other every which way they possibly could without turning each other in the process.
Let's see if we can maybe, Big Al, would you like to, let's see if we can do an interview maybe? Big Al, you want to take it away with an interview?
Yep.
Let's see if we can get Paul Hill up here. Get our guy in the truck. Oh, he's way down there in Discord. Okay. Kobe, I'm going to let you do the honors of moving him so I don't mess it up. Paul Hill, do you hear us?
I got you.
All right, I'm going to pass you over to Big Al. We're going to talk about that race. Big Al, take it away.
Paul Hill, Big Al up in the booth. How you doing tonight?
Good. How are you, Big Al?
Hey, man, I'm probably not doing as well as you. Stage one in the books, and, man, you're putting on a little bit of a clinic down there. What you say?
Yeah, just trying to keep it clean between the rumble strips here. COTA has ridiculous off tracks, so just trying to mind my P's and Q's and not get too many 1X's. Trying to stay in front of everybody here.
How is your X count going, if you don't mind us asking here?
I am glad to report I have 0 right now, Big Al, which I don't know how I managed that, but we're here.
Yeah, you're one of the few, man. This track is definitely is proven a little bit. Did you guys have a lot of work to get ready to come out here and run this first time we're running this configuration?
Yeah, I guess you could say I'm somewhat of a road course ringer, so I always circle every road course every year, and those are probably my best places to steal a win in this league. It's so competitive on the oval side. I try to take advantage of the few areas I have it in, and I feel like road courses are one of them. So as long as I don't mess it up on fuel strategy, hopefully I can get a win tonight.
How you feeling? Do you think that you guys got a pretty good strategy, or is it something that you think might change a little bit here?
Playing it by ear. We're gonna see how the fuel mileage works out here, and decide what we do at the next stage break from there, and hope for the best, I guess you could say. But the track is so cold. My fuel consumption's still pretty good, but definitely playing it by ear.
Yeah, definitely. Have you noticed the track temps actually affecting your practice times and race times this week? And what about even tonight? Did it affect your preparation for the race?
I didn't really affect prep, thankfully. Colder track just means faster times, but we're definitely clipping at a little bit higher rate than I expected tonight. I was surprised by the track temp, and it's definitely shown in the lap times. I'm probably a good half-second faster than I am in a typical A Open this week. So colder tracks, faster times, I guess faster reaction times too. Can't going faster. You got to be more aware.
Yeah, your lap time is definitely off the marks, man. Congratulations for your stage 1 win. Who you shouting out here tonight as we get ready to go on to stage 2?
Of course, want to shout out Densler, the boys on the side of the car, provide the tools to do my job outside of the sim. Want to shout them out as always. My teammate Chad Sander, who's not here today, but he helps me develop my road sets every week, so I want to shout him out. And yeah, I think that's it.
All right, boss, get back to it, and congratulations. Hope we'll see you again here for another stage victory or even a race victory at the end of this thing.
That's the hope at Big Al.
All right, thank you very much, Paul Hill. We'll get you back down there in your Discord channel in just a minute. In the meantime, though, we're getting ready to go here. It's another lap until the green flag. Out in front, we do have Paul Hill, Bacon Zelenka just there on the outside. It's going to be a run to the line for the two of them here at the restart. But the tire situation's a little bit different. We've seen now that everybody at the front right now, we had a lot of people who stayed out because, as we saw earlier, the way the fuel's going to work out today, they're going to be able to stay out until lap 22 if they want to. They've got enough gas for it, most likely. So with that in mind, it's really just a matter of Paul Hill holding on to things until that 22 mark, when he'll really have to get in and take advantage of some gas and some tires. But up until then, it's still going to be I think it'll be a similar race to stage 1 once we get down to it. Once people have figured out where they're racing, I think we've gotten to a point where everyone's kind of comfortable with their pace, except for two guys up at the front, Bacon Zelenka and Brandon Pasalacqua, who have got to figure out who is going to be in second place by the time we get to the end of this stage.
I'll say one guy to keep an eye on, too, here is going to be Patrick Gitter, moved back up through the field here after getting a little bit of an incident earlier that we alluded to. Back up in the top 10 now, that 21 machine. Right behind DeCiani.
Big Al.
One more point here as we get ready to go green. Well, we'll cover this after we go green.
Okay, we're about to hit that line. There goes the pace car. Here comes the start line. One more time, we're going to go green here at Circuit of the Americas. Texas State Brazil 156. There's the green flag. We are green yet again on the ISCA Live.
Oh, look at Zelenka pinching the 6 machine and Pasalacqua all the way down to the bottom of the track before we get into turn number 1. And off the track goes the 26 of Paul Hill.
Little hot into the corner. Now it's Hill in third place, looking at the back of Brandon Pasalacqua and Bacon Zelenka. But Hill is being chased down hard by Joey Preby and Matt DeCiani.
Yeah, now that Hill's falling back, the third spot definitely is going to be a little bit more of a challenge. Not as easy to move through the field there if you're not in the lead. And one thing I was going to point out, gentlemen, as Green Flag Racing continues, is that Clayton Hoffman and Ryan Strunk both pitted. That's going to be something we're really going to have to pay attention to, because that's going to have a direct impact on this race.
Oh, that's a good point here. And they're both moving up the field very quickly right now.
And I just don't know how the 45 can. I don't know how the 45 can hang on up there. You've been seeing it. You saw it all at the end of the last stage, and you're seeing it here at the start of the second stage. That 45 machine is just wicked loose as soon as he comes to throttle. And a little bit of a shot from the 6 of Pasalacqua again here.
Yeah, I can see it. Every time he hits the corner, that machine is just moving a little more than maybe you want it to. If it costs him any momentum, it's going to be eaten up by Pasalacqua immediately. And that situation is going to leave the 45 in dire straits as we come back down across the start-finish line here. Get things started with lap 18.
And I'm going to tell you, Paul Hill has had this view. It was behind him in the first stage. Now it's in front of him in the second stage. But one thing he's going to do, he's going to try to keep Reed just behind him. So he doesn't want to get caught up in what's going on in front of him. He knows. He's aware of it. He just doesn't want to be any parts of it.
Not at all.
Too wide right now. You see that too wide situation? That was the 29 machine going wide into turn one, or a little bit, and keeping things on the track, thankfully.
And also, if you're in that 6 machine, if you're past the Lockway, you know that this is the time to make something happen. The guy that's dominated this thing, he's back there in your mirror. You know he's going to be charging here before too long. You want to get up to that 45, move him out of the way, at least get those 5 points for leading the lap. But you want to make something happen right now because this is the best opportunity you have.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's got 4 laps till the end of the stage.
And ooh, got an accident with the 3 car, looks like.
Let's take a look at the way back machine.
Oh, Ryan Strunk had just pitted with Clayton Hoffman, and now it looks like that he's involved where looks like he just sidesteps it there. Gets her a little loose. Gonna keep her off the wall there, but that's definitely gonna hurt his pride and his position there, guys.
He is so lucky that that's an angled wall there.
Yeah,
If that was flush, if that was flush, man, he'd be talking a different story right now with probably a bent toe link.
Oh my goodness, that was so close. What a spin as we get back on the race leader right now. Bacon Zelenka coming on down past turn one, back into the S's now with Brandon Pasalacqua hot on his heels. Paul Hill refusing to let go of the podium here. He did have that run off track early at the beginning of this stage that cost him the position ahead of these two, but he's definitely still in contention, and he is putting the heat to the heels of Brandon Pasalacqua.
And look at the 26 machine of Paul Hill. Every move that he is making on the track, every apex, every corner. Did you see him make a move to the inside of the 6 car right now for second place? It's like watching artwork in motion with that 26 car.
Have you guys seen
on it?
Have you guys seen the lap times? Specifically, have you seen his lap time?
No, I haven't been watching it. Let's see what we got.
His fastest lap time is a 1:35.347. The next closest lap time to that is a 1:35.760. So you're talking literally, he is 4/10 faster. 4/10 faster on a lap than the second closest guy.
Now he called his shot too earlier when he was up here in the booth. He said, "I practice these road courses. I circle them on my calendar. This is what I know. This is where I can get competitive." And so far, he really has been. He kept his cool in a tough situation. Here he goes back up into turn one. What a tough turn too. You lose so much weight on this car coming up over these hills, this double hump here. But if you know what you're doing and you've raced here a lot, you can use that momentum coming down the hill. And there he goes, Paul Hill pulling away from Brandon Pasalacqua and trying to get a little bit closer to Bacon Zelenka.
Also, strategy's going to make a play here. Matt DiCiani dives down pit road at the start of this last lap. First car on pit road.
I'm just going to short pit the stage. Can't really blame him.
Not at all.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
he got DQ'd.
Oh, he had a drive-through. Looks like David Gervais, same thing. He's got to come to do a roll-through here.
Now, the first drive-throughs will start, I think, at 21 incidents. I think that's when the drive-through starts. And then 25 is when you're actually out of the race.
That's not a good time there.
Not at all. Unfortunately, this is that's COTA for you, but we are only on lap 20 of 60. We're looking at 22, I believe, for the end of stage 2. So let's keep it on the track, boys.
So, I mean, when you start to look at this, guys, that's a lot of X's in such a short period of time. We're not even halfway through this yet. So, I mean, we're going to see a lot of guys fall through attrition. 83.
There it is right there.
Tim Wortman Jr. Do we have a driver cam for him? I think he might be one person we have a driver cam for.
Oh,
I think he was trying to pit, and he just way too deep in.
I I think he realized that he was a lap short. I think I think he realized he should have pitted the lap before that, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Tough spot to figure that out.
Also, I gotta say, Zelenka is just absolutely flying now that he's up here at the point.
He really is. He's kept a pretty good distance ahead
Yep.
of Hill and Pasalacqua since he's gotten the lead.
On average, he has been 3.5 to 2 tenths quicker than Paul Hill since he's taken the lead.
You love to see it.
And that clean air, man, it pays dividends. Oh, huge lockup for the 83 again.
Just not his day. Way off the racing line. We can see his heart rate here, I think. I'll have that up on screen. And we are looking at who we got here. This is still, Wortman Jr. You can see he's running about 98 on the heart rate meter. Keeping his cool, staying sub 3 digits despite the situation. Good luck to you, Mr. Wortman Jr. And thank you for sharing the driver cam. Back up, Paul Hill. He's in second. The gap is tightening, though. We talked a little bit about it being decent earlier, but now it's changed as Paul Hill gets even closer to Bacon Zelenka.
Ooh, Hill gets a little loose.
That's a big loss.
Kind of chops.
Yeah.
That's going to take away the momentum that he had on Zelenka, as well as open the door for Brandon Pasalacqua, which is something that you really don't want to do at this stage in the competition.
No. Pasalacqua was not happy to give up that position.
Man, I'm going to say Joey Preby is definitely, I mean, I'm not saying that he was a wild card, but he is definitely, he's throwing his hat in the ring with some pretty big names here tonight, guys. So hats off to the 87 car. I mean, driving it like he stole it.
And to be able to be competitive with some of the heavy hitters that we have up here at the front with the times that they've been setting. And, in practice and qualifying, Preby looked like he was really kind of struggling a little bit, really getting it by the horns right now, though, and putting together some really good lap times and showing his worth as the driver here.
Yeah, definitely. That squad's going to be really happy with their performance here if they can continue with the momentum that they have thus far, gentlemen.
And that's going to be the end of stage 2 as Bacon Zelenka takes the lead in the race and the win for the stage, or holds on to the lead in the race and wins the stage. Running down the top 10 really quick at the end of stage 2, it's Bacon Zelenka in first, Paul Hill in second, Brandon Pasalacqua in third, Joey Preby in fourth, Patrick Gitter in fifth, Derek Heitman back up in sixth, Brian Johnson in seventh, Clayton Hoffman in eighth, Vincent Crow in ninth, Josh Schaffner in 10th, and Josh Schaffner in 10th. John Binder gets a bonus shout out. It's number 11. And we are going to go ahead and do one more commercial break, folks, before we do a nice big chunk here in stage 3. So don't go anywhere.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Experience traditional Brazilian cuisine. served with the hospitality that Texas is famous for. Here at Texas de Brazil, you simply turn your car to green, and expert carvers serve you fine cuts of beef, lamb, pork, chicken, and Brazilian sausage. Turn your car to red when you want a break. Then repeat. Make reservations now at texasdebrazil.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to the ISCA Live. I'm Jolo, up here in the booth with Big Al and Sheldon Atkins, and we have a third stage of racing to bring you after two exciting nail-biters that have had a lot going on. To recap a little bit, we've had an incredible battle between Brandon Pasalacqua and Benkin Zelenka that has involved Paul Hill, who was the leader of the race during stage one, won stage one. He had a little bit of trouble starting stage two, and the other two racers took advantage of that, and the rest of the field has been setting up their own little battles along the way as well. Now we've got people pitting, getting ready for the rest of this race. Everybody's coming down who hasn't pit yet. There's about 35 laps of fuel in these cars. So with lap 25 out of 60, we're not going to make it all the way to the end without one more pit stop. This is where strategies are going to start coming in, and we'll see how things pan out for the field as we continue the Texas de Brazil 156.
I had Brandon up, and I didn't realize that he was actually going to pit, so I dropped him back down so he can actually pit. But if you like, we can bring him back up here, and you can talk to him.
Yeah, you want to bring up Brandon Pasalacqua? Let's see if we can get one in really quick, and I'll have a quick chat with him. Oh, I got 2 laps. I got plenty of time. Brandon, can you hear us?
Hey, I got you. How are you guys?
Hey, we're doing really, really good. We wanted to talk to you a little bit about your race so far. You've had some pretty incredible challenges. You've had a really amazing battle back there with Benkin Zelenka, where you guys were just trading shot for shot, place for place for a while. Can you walk us through a little bit of that?
Yeah. He took off real fast, and as the laps clicked off, it seemed like my car had a little bit more pace, and I gave him some time, and about 5 laps after, I started giving him a little bump to say, "Hey, man, I want to get by here and see if I can't go get that 26." Yeah, he didn't want to give it up, which is fine. And yeah, Rubin's racing. Just having a blast down here.
Oh, that's beautiful. You guys have had a great race so far, and we talked to Paul Hill a little bit earlier, who was kind of confident about his skill tonight, and throwing out that he practices road courses. Do you have a challenge for that?
Him and I battled a lot last year at the road courses. Him, me, and DeCiani. They're probably a little bit better than I am, but when it comes down to the race, we're on top of each other usually. But I do think the 26 car has more pace than me today, but I really haven't gotten a chance to, to go toe-to-toe with him. I let him go by there at the end of stage 2 because it just wasn't worth the battle. It seemed like he was pushing pretty hard. So the name of the game is just survive and be there at the end, and we'll see what we got.
That's what I like to hear, Brandon. That's what I like to hear. Anybody you want to shout out to mid-race here?
Yeah, definitely. I want to shout out to my guys at Paradigm, Josh, Brian, Chris, and Randy. Shout out to my sponsors, OB Builders, Door and Trim. They do a lot for me, along with Ram Welding and Fabrication. And thank you guys in the booth. Appreciate y'all taking care of us and putting on a good show.
All right, thank you for your time. We look forward to talking to you later. Maybe we'll see you on the podium potentially, and have a good rest of your race.
We'll see. Thank you.
Okay, that was Brandon Pasalacqua, currently in third place right now, behind Paul Hill and our leader, Bacon Zelenka. Looks like we're getting ready for the 1 to green situation here. The lights are still on our pace car. I think he's about to cross the line, and then we'll see those lights turn off, and it'll be time to go.
Also, big gainer here. That 92 machine of Clayton Hoffman stayed out when everybody pit.
That's true. That shakes things up a little bit.
Gonna roll the dice here on a little strategy call.
Yeah, that was definitely, I saw that. That's the reason why I think he came in on that last one. We've seen Clayton do stuff like that because you got to best your track position any way you can. And this is all about track position, gentlemen.
How is this going to pay off, I wonder? Oh, sorry, Sheldon. You were saying?
No. I mean, we saw how well it paid off for the 45 machine last run. Paul couldn't really get to him to do anything with him that entire stint. Having that clean air, it just seems like such a massive advantage here at COTA.
Yeah, once you get that lead, you really pull ahead.
And you're talking about the 92 of Clayton Hoffman. And, I mean, I don't care if you're on a golf cart, a skateboard, or in a grocery cart. I mean, this dude's a contender.
It's true. You could drive just about anything and probably set a really good time in it. And right now, he really is strategy time. It's time to see exactly how he thinks this is going to pay off. Being the only one who decided not to take advantage of hitting at lap 24 is going to be a daunting position to put himself in, with tires that are likely older than everybody's tires, that are obviously older than everybody's tires. With less gas, he's going to be pitting earlier than everybody else. This is a situation where it almost feels like he's got himself at a disadvantage, but I don't know. We're going to find out. Only one way to find out. That's to see these boys race.
And also, if you're Paul Hill, you're just replaying that last restart 100 times over before you go to take this green flag here.
Oh, you're not kidding. For the folks who are just tuning in, Paul Hill had a little bit of a hot entry into turn number 1. Ended up running off and losing the first place position to Zelenka and Pasalacqua, who were battling it out at the time. And now Hill was able to eke back second place. He's been in the pole position before, so he's very close, within spitting distance of his previous position. And all he's got to do is try to break through Clayton Hoffman, which I don't think is going to be very hard right now to get there. I'll say it. I'm sorry, Clayton Hoffman, but I think you're going to get run over.
I don't know.
Whoa, easy, cowboy.
That's cold take right there.
I'm just saying, Bacon understands the position that he's in because he's got, Paul Hill. Paul Hill's got Bacon behind him. He's got Clayton beside him. And he's got a wealth of other drivers back there. Guys, going into turn 1, it's going to be hot.
And it's about to heat up right now. Turning the corner, looking down the line. There's turn 1. That hill, so daunting, rising up into infinity in front of these drivers. Here comes the green flag. And we are green yet again on the ISCA Live. Texas Day, Brazil, 156.
Look at the launch Clayton Hoffman got.
Oh, Hoffman, huge lockup. Oh, he's taking it straight out of the track.
Wow.
Hey, blew the turn.
Joey Prevey to the front after Clayton Hoffman goes straight to the moon.
Prevey leading Zelenka through the S's right now. Prevey probably the most improved driver in the race. We weren't talking about him all at first stage. Second stage, you started to hint to him a little bit. Now here he is leading this thing at just shy of halfway.
Good place to be in. Looking good, too. Let's see if he can get a lap lead under his belt. Get that bonus point for himself here. Nice hard turn, the 45 side by side with Paul Hill behind him. So they losing a little bit of speed on the exit there. The 87, like we said, with that clean air, very good chance to just pull away here, especially if Paul Hill keeps putting the heat to the heels of Zelenka.
Oh, Vincent!
Bunch of side by side.
Problem is the pressure. I mean, this is that moment that everybody wants, but now you're in that seat, and the 87 right now is in that seat. And the question is, is he gonna be able to keep those guys at bay? And he's got a lot of giants behind him, guys.
Look at Vincent Crow, though. How many spots he just made up? Just a handful of corners. Cutting through the field right now.
Yeah, we just got caught up here on the broadcast with him a little bit, and he's had some really, really hot moments here. The 48 also, let's not forget about Jose Medina. He's got, he's side by side right now with, I think it was Ryan Strunk or Kevin Zosiak. I couldn't tell who at the moment.
What happened to the 92? What happened to
Clayton Hoffman?
Clayton? What happened to Clayton?
That's a darn good question, my friend. It looked almost like a hardware issue, considering how hard he went from, trying to counter steer left to shooting to the right. But unfortunately, that whatever we were talking about, the best laid, he really made the of mice and men statement true. The best laid plans, they often go astray. And he had it all laid out in front of him, and then it all went away right in turn one. What a shame. I kind of wanted to see how that played out.
Yeah, man, I'd love to talk to him a little bit later on and kind of figure out, what the hell.
We'll see if we can. Right now, what the hell is what Joey Preby is saying to Bacon Zelenka, who is very close to him and is just not letting him get away with holding on to this first place position for much longer. But it looks like Joey Preby has led a lap and is probably going to lead another one here.
And we were talking about Preby, man, just a little bit earlier. And this guy, he brought a car here tonight, and he's here to drive it. I think he's got a pretty good shot at staying out front, at least to possibly the pit stops.
Well, we're on lap 28 of 60, now 29 of 60 as Joey Preby crosses the line, going up into turn one where we've seen entire empires crumble time and time again tonight. Preby tight to the inside of the corner, good entrance, perfect exit. He's still ahead of Zelenka. Zelenka just hot on his heels, doesn't take the bait, doesn't try to jive any harder than he has to, but it looks like he is trying to set up a pass of some kind if he can get one.
Definitely trying to set him up right now. And as I was going to say, Paul Hill, probably the driver in the field with the most regret out of anybody. If there's one corner you could take back, it would definitely be that one in that restart for second stage. Just mired here in third place.
Yeah, especially after watching Preby.
It just looks like that car's lost the magic touch now that he's in traffic.
He's got his own little crew there with Patrick Gitter behind him, up 4 places from 8th. Pasalacqua moving down to 5th from where we saw him. We were just talking to him, and unfortunately, he made his way down a couple more places, gave up a spot to Patrick Gitter. Derek Heitman in 6th, so he's got his own little crew back there, Paul Hill. But what he needs is a good, not really a push on a course like this, I guess. I mean, I'm not sure how much it would probably help to have someone right in the bubble right behind you, but if it did, that's what he's lacking right now.
Guys, I want to give a big shout out to the 76er, Derek Heitman. I mean, he, spun it out, wrapped it up on the turn one, and he's made itself all the way back up just outside of the top 5.
Hey. It's yeah. Well, maybe there was a lesson learned in our commentator curse, so that he had to climb the mountain in order to get up a little bit higher and earn that spot. But now he's back exactly where he started. Sorry for making your life a little bit harder there, Derek Heitman, but you're doing great so far. We'll see you. You're looking in Brandon Pasalacqua's rearview mirror right now as he gets pushed backwards a little bit by Patrick Gitter. So pretty good chance that there's going to be another set of battles going on here around the 5th place position.
Also,
no, there we go. We're talking about him again. He almost wraps it there.
Quick, get the camera off him immediately. Don't put it back on.
Let's stop talking about Heitman. We're killing him up here.
Who? Exactly.
Paul Olsen. He's back on the racetrack and out turning laps again. Way to go, Paul.
That's it. Halfway through the race, officially lap 30 of 60. We've had 2 stages end before this so far. We've had some pretty impressive finishes. Paul Hill, Bacon Zelenka. Right now, the stage is being led by Joey Preby. who is a driver that we've mentioned before, have been only increasingly talking about as the race has gone on, as we've seen him drive more and more impressively. Previously sitting around 5th position when the race started, he has suddenly found himself sitting with the crown and holding off Bacon Zelenka as we go around across the start-finish line into lap 31, officially starting the second half of this race.
Yep, but the car still with the lap time to beat, still going to be Paul Hill. He is the fastest car on the racetrack and the fastest overall today. Just a matter of time before he gets up and make his move.
Contact.
Oh,
Vincent
Crowe.
Crowe.
I believe, right? Yep.
Overstepping it a little bit into turn 1 there.
Yeah, sorry about that. But Vincent Crowe was overstepping just a touch. It was a very aggressive maneuver there. He drove it down to the inside, got the corner, but made some contact. We saw some smoke. Now he's making moves on the 50. That's Josh Schaffner right ahead of him right now. Schaffner up 1 position from 11th where he started. Crowe still down a little bit. Here's the back stretch. Quick down into the stretch.
Halfway. We're halfway through this thing right now, trying to see who's going to be our leader.
Oh, that's true. Preby is out there. He's probably got the staying power to stay out there for some time, but everybody's on the same fuel strategy right now. Everyone's got the same tank in them. So unless somebody deliberately pits early for some reason, or we get another Clayton Hoffman situation where you get somebody who just decides, hey, I've got this crazy strategy, I'm just going to stay out. We're going to see the game really change for the lead when people start pitting in. And so we'll see if Joey Preby can hold on to the lead after the fuel strategy starts to kick in for these guys.
And here comes a shot from the 45. Zelenka going to push him all the way through the corner here.
Yeah.
Preby going to hang on tight, though.
Not bad, not bad. Right as I was about to say, we're going to take some time for him to get up there. For Joey Preby to be challenged, it looks like Zelenka decided to prove me wrong by challenging him immediately. But Paul Hill, still on the tail of Zelenka, is also a part of this fight.
And that's why Zelenka's turning up the wick a little bit. He knows that he's got the fastest car in the field on his rear bumper, finally starting to make some headway for the 26 of Paul Hill. And it's do or die now if you're trying to get to this lead.
Hill still back a little ways. He's just looking for a good alternate line that he can use on Zelenka to get around him, but it looks like every time he tries something, he just ends up biting off a little bit of extra steak, and when you have to chew it, it leaves you behind. And so it's Paul Hill is always so close to Zelenka, and Zelenka is so close to Preby, but in both situations, I just think that they're trying to figure out an alternate line to the one that Preby's driving, but the racing line is the racing line for a reason, and when they go off of it, they're just losing too much speed.
I think they're just putting the pressure right there where it needs to be. Now, I'm only wondering how much fuel, though, are these guys consuming extra just because they are racing so hard. So maybe some guys that are further back might have the opportunity to lay off a little bit. Maybe that allows them to go farther. I don't know. Fuel strategy could come into big play here.
That's very true. It looks like also, unfortunately, Clayton Hoffman is now officially behind the wall. He had a misfire. He is
break for him. Oh, here comes Hill.
Oh, yeah, he's very close now, this battle for first. We got eyes on from Paul Hill's perspective.
I'd like to see if we got a helmet cam for Zelenka. So I want everybody to see what he's looking at right now.
Yeah, switch us over to Zelenka if you get a chance. The number 45 there. Now let's see what he sees. Ooh, he sees opportunities everywhere.
Oh, here we go. Here he goes. Huge dive down to the bottom. He's going to be able to clear him. He's going to rough him up the track just a little bit. Zelenka to the inside. Now they're 3 wide. Through the S's. I don't think that's going to work.
Oof. Rubbin's racing. Almost had him.
Preby holding on.
Wow. That's tenacity right there, folks. That's the definition. You look it up in Merriam-Webster. The picture you see is a picture of Joey Preby right there next to the word.
Here comes another shot. Is he going to give it to him? Not able to get it lined up. Preby going to lead lap 34 here at the stripe.
Watching
And
turn
this
one.
could be the moment. Yeah, well, exactly, Big Al. Watching turn one. Bacon.
Here we go. Big dive. Huge shove to the back bumper. Oh, all four locked up on the 87 machine.
The
Big
87.
shove. He's in the gravel.
87 tried to close the door right there, got a little bit greedy, and he paid the ultimate price as he's going to fall all the way back to what I do believe is going to be. Where is Bacon?
He's in 5th.
I'm at Preby.
Joey Preby's in 5th now.
Yeah, all the way back to 5th. What'd you guys think about that move?
Woo! Sheldon, I'm still processing it.
Well, you better hope if you're in the 45 that you're not having to lap that machine later on in this thing. Better pray that you don't get back to that rear bumper. But here's an interesting fact now. Paul Hill sat here. He just witnessed all that happen. That shot. And, most drivers don't talk about when you see somebody race somebody that rough and that aggressively, try to move them out of the way like that, it takes your give-a-damn meter, so to speak, and throws it out the window, and you realize that you can do the same tactics on the guy in front of you.
Okay, so let's have this conversation. Joey Preby also got a little bit overzealous with Brandon Passalacqua. I mean, is this a show of force, or is that his driving style? I mean, that's the question. What are you guys thinking?
Oh, it's a good question. Seeing it twice during, you've got to use the shovel in a situation like this to do exactly what Preby did. I think he raced hard, yeah, but I think that to make a pass here without that kind of move is almost impossible. So given where we are, given the pace of the race so far and how hard he's been racing, I'm going to say that he did the right thing.
Look, I'll put it this way. We got fenders on these cars for a reason. It's a full contact sport. But you also got to remember, you can live by the sword, you can die by the sword. But all's fair out here to an extent. So I'd have probably done the same thing myself and would have dealt with the consequences a little later on.
Oh, yeah, I want to clarify. Bacon shoveling Joey was the move that I think was an allowable move. But Joey Preby has also been, as you said, a little bit of his own type of aggressive driver tonight. So is it fair play? I don't even know if Bacon was thinking about that in the moment. But if so, yeah, I think it's fair play.
I got a soundboard bite for this typically, but hang on.
Short track racing.
Short track racing.
It holds true even at the road courses. Getting late in these stages, man. These drivers, they become something different.
They really do. They really do. Different monsters. And speaking of different monsters, who are we looking at right now, monster-wise? This is the 44 machine. Brian Johnson and Tim Wortman Jr., I believe, right here.
Yep. And Johnson, really tidy race for him, up 5 spots from his starting position. We really haven't talked about him a whole lot, but holding a steady wheel out there.
Ooh, a little bit of a flip-flop there as Tim Wortman moves up a position. Wortman's had an up-and-down race tonight. He's been knocked around a little bit, had a couple of times that he's been off the track, but still holding on to things. Now cracking into the low top 10s, or I guess the high top 10s? The low top 10s. He's 8th. Brian Johnson's currently 9th. Vincent Krogh rounding out the top 10 overall. But now that he's got the position, Tim Wortman is flying away, and he's looking to try to catch up to Derek Heitman.
I will say, it's cool looking at some of our biggest movers a little bit further in the pack. John Binder up 7 spots to 12th from where he started. Kevin Zosiak up to 15th, up 8, and then biggest mover of the race so far, Jose Medina up 9 positions from his starting spot, and he's up in 17th at the moment.
It's going to lead.
Let's see here. Up at the front, Bacon Zelenka still holding on to things. Paul Hill just behind.
Yeah, now, just a little bit ago, we almost had a 3-challenge situation for the lead as Passalacqua and Paul Hill both encroached upon Bacon. So it's getting a little sporty, shorty.
I gotta say, man, that you know, we've seen the 45 up here at the front of this. We've seen the 26 at the front. I'm really curious what that 6 machine at Pasalaco could do if he could get some clean air. Because he has been hounding whoever's in second this entire race.
That's true. It's a good way to look at it. And the guys who have been passing, moving right now, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th are exactly where they started the race. We don't have a Charger who's moved up over 8 positions or down, aside from people who are out of the race, down more than 4. This has been a very consistent race for a lot of people in terms of where they've been in the overall running. So the people who do make a move, it's been after some serious clawing and some serious battling. Ooh, nice wide double right there from Zelenka.
Man, you guys seeing how clouded
Zelenka a little wide there.
You guys seeing how cloudy the sky is?
Yep.
That's probably just going to help make that track just a little bit cooler.
Hey, cooler track, faster cars, right? I think that's how it goes.
Yeah, but it is a false sense of confidence, though, because it's very easy to get out there on a cold track and overheat them tires.
That's fair. That sounds like a horrible mixture of extremes. Ugh.
I did it at Dover one year, not thinking about it, and popped it right front.
Oh man. So
Yeah,
you gotta get towed back after that, I guess.
It was a jump scare. I'll leave it at that.
Not the kind you like. Hey,
Nope.
let's see who's going down pit road right now. I think it's
Brian
Brian
Johnson.
Lo and behold, a man alone. Maybe a pee break. Grabbing a Snickers, maybe, or maybe he's making reservations at Texas Day Brazil.
No,
maybe he had too many incidents and needed to do a drive-through.
I think he's had to top her off
That
a little
was
bit.
weird. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a fast fuel stop.
Coming in for a chicken sandwich.
A delicious chicken sandwich. That'd be fantastic. But it's got nothing on dinner at Texas Day Brazil. You see what I'm doing here? I'm turning things. I'm making sure to mention our sponsor tonight, or one of our sponsors.
Man, one of my most favorite restaurants. I mean, we at least have it every couple weeks.
There you go. Ooh, that's all right. That sounds like the way to do it. Also,
Fan of the land.
A big shout out also to iRacing for sponsoring tonight, and Butt Kicker. Man, that 45 has got a challenge to. It's in the form of Paul Hill, who will not let go and has just said, I'm going to watch you every step of the way, especially here in turn 1. Paul Hill, both of them locking up with some serious smoke. Paul Hill
just about loses it.
Yeah, nearly.
They were trying to find a way by that lap car. Took a little bit of a more shallow entry, and they both about bit the bullet on that one. Luckily, they all make it through clean.
Hill, good recovery on that slide.
Hill all over the back bumper coming through the S's. Probably the best run we've seen out of him here in a handful of laps.
Yeah, that was a really good set of S's there. You could just see the car doing that gentle rock back and forth, the exact moments where you know the wheel goes this way, that way. Like, you've got it, muscle memory locked in. You could tell that he really knew where he was going.
But that 45 machine, man, he's getting such a good drive out because look at how much more he's arcing his corner. Same thing that we were seeing with Pasalaco earlier. That 45 is just doing a masterful job of using every inch of this racetrack to really be able to generate a run. Makes it really hard for Paul Hill to do anything with him. He'll catch him on entry, but he completely loses him on exit.
Yeah, you're right. It's been really just an entertaining watch to see Zelenka hold on to this lead through the pure will of the car alone, it seems. And he's got that wide line, and it's keeping his momentum through the turns just enough that he's staying not competitive, but dominant. Let's see what here. What happened to Kenny Powell? Something just went down. Looking back at the start finish line. Uh-oh, it's turn 1. Tries to stay behind. Here's the cars. Ooh.
He's stuck between 2 cars.
He just got hit by a car.
Car running over.
Kenny is going to be Kenny is going to be so happy to see Desert Sand next week.
Desert. Oh yeah.
I think he's a restrictor plate, road course. I think he's ready to go to a normal track.
Oh my god. Stuck between 2 cars. Dangerous spot to be.
Definitely.
Coming around to that nice wide turn again. There's Bacon Zelenka holding on to the lead. Paul Hill still reading Bacon's line, but and using it for the most part, which is probably why he can't get a good pass on.
Now, the real question here is everybody gonna be able to make it on fuel? It's a pretty long stint.
This is too long for a stint for the guys. Most of these guys who have pit on 24. So there's no way they're gonna make it on fuel 60.
Well, here's the question: anybody
at like 55? Yeah, right before 60, they're gonna have to pit.
Here's the question: has anybody at the back been shutting that motor off? Here we go, big dive to the bottom for the 26. Not gonna be able to make it materialize though. Zelenka's gonna get a good drive out of turn number 1, back down the hill through the S's.
We definitely know the guys up front, they've already factored in the fact that they're going to stop. And once you already know that, now it's just a matter of when. Because they're probably going to continue to battle just like this, and that's going to make that battle even trickier, guys, because they're not relying on the caution.
You know, those are out the window here.
Yeah. We haven't seen one yet. I don't think we've seen a stage caution from an incident yet. We've seen 2 from the stages, but never from getting a stage caution from an incident on a road course is a needle in a haystack. It's not going to happen you're not going to find it very easily.
All over the back bumper again. Is he going to be able to do something with him this time? Come through the final corners. Right up to the rear bumper. Huge shot. But Paul Hill slides out, not able to really make it connect.
It seems that's as close as he's been able to get, guys. That's kind of the shadow that was cast when we were watching back with, I believe it was Paul. Well, I don't know. But, yeah, that was about as close as he's been able to get here for a while.
And it's so difficult. You get up to the back bumper of the car and the nose just doesn't want to do what it's supposed to do. You know, these cars were designed to make the dirty air a lot more manageable, and it feels to me like they've done the exact opposite when we come to the short tracks and road courses.
Here comes turn 1 once more. Zelenka, a little bit of smoke out of those tires.
Oh, huge lockup.
Losing some speed. Yeah.
But Hill not able to do anything with it because he had a pretty bad corner entry to 1-2.
Yeah, he was a little tight in the corner, so definitely lost whatever chances he had. But
here he comes.
Oh, man.
Lifting him up through the S's. A little bit of contact. He's going to be able to move him out of the way. Huge shot.
Burns him just a little bit. Gets a sideway. Another deep run inside. Smokes him.
I think that's the first time we've seen Paul lock it up.
Yeah, at least by himself. He's locked it up with Bacon one time, and they threw it really hard into 1 to avoid that lap traffic, but since then, it really hasn't been a situation where he's been locking it up on his own, but he is watching Bacon Zelenka like a hawk. He's watching like a dog watches Bacon. You know, he's got his eyes locked on him. So whenever Bacon has a moment where he might slow down or he has a bad entry, you can almost bet that means that Paul Hill's going to have a bad entry too.
You can see Paul Hill definitely taking note. He is really cutting in his corners. He's tightening up his turns. And man, he's trying. I don't know. Hopefully that doesn't wear his tires out too much. What do you think, Sheldon?
I think it's. You can't really throw as much load at these things as you want to. It's not going to be so much of a tire wear problem as it's going to be a tire heat problem. If he's able to back it down a little bit, though, after a couple laps of fighting like this, he should be able to get the temps back to where they need to be for the car to get to its optimal handling point. But I don't think any of these guys are going to roll over give an inch. He doesn't have the opportunity to, because as soon as he rolls off it, he's got a rearview mirror full of Passalacqua, and I mean, you know, don't hold your breath, but right behind them, DeCiani. Those are two heavy hitters to go toe-to-toe with on a road course.
And right in front of them, lap traffic, there's Kenny Powell and J.C. Evans. This is going
Here we go. Oh, huge shot!
I think
Up
that
on the
was
quarter
an
panel.
unintentional shot potentially from Paul Hill, but it got right up in the quarter panel of Big and Zelenka. Big turn as they dodged the lap traffic. Hill had a bad slide earlier in this lap that cost him some momentum, but it looks like he's caught it back up right now.
I think Hill wanted to give him the shot, but once he realized he was on the quarter panel, he cracked out of it. Last thing he wanted to do was get out there and turn that 45 car. Big respect to Paul Hill for that.
I think his eyes got really big once he saw the lap traffic, because that was one opportunity he had to capitalize. And now that those guys are gone, he's really going to be looking for another shot.
Well, let's see if he can get one here coming down.
With pit stops potentially on the way, too.
I keep
one more opportunity.
That. That'll have to happen within the next 10 laps or so here. 11 laps as we're on 43 out of 60. We've got about, let's see, we're going to cross the finish line here. I was going to say about 16 laps to go in tonight's race.
Oh, but under pressure. Here comes the 6 machine.
Passalacqua just getting into the rearview mirror of Paul Hill.
He's off.
Can he hold on?
It's like one goes wide, one goes low. It's just like they never meet in the middle.
That's true.
I'll tell you
That's
what,
true.
Paul's-
Never quite meet in the middle.
Paul's bread and butter, as he's asked us. I don't think there's anybody out here faster through there than him.
Oh, speaking of that situation, though, Paul just had a very bad exit through that corner. But he's going to throw it back hard into this turn here to the inside. Doesn't want to get into Zelenka again. That was his bad spot from earlier, I think, where they had that spin, where they almost spun each other around a little bit.
DeCiani.
Yeah, I was just ready to say that's somebody we hadn't mentioned a lot, but here he comes, sneaking himself right up into the fray. Matt DeCiani. That's got to be reckoned with.
Well, that's classic DeCiani, though. You don't talk about him for the first 3 quarters of the race, and you just, look up and he's there.
This is exciting stuff. I got to say, having 4 cars at the lead of this race that all feel like they're contending for first place. It doesn't feel like DeCiani's in a battle for third. It feels like he's a legitimate part of the battle for first place right now.
I think Hill might be able to get him here if he just gives him a big enough shot. And there it is, all over the rear bumper. But not able to get him to budge.
He's trying to paint it. You just can't quite get the brush on it.
And here comes the 6 at Passalacqua.
Big dive right now coming up out of Passalacqua. He says goodbye, Hill. Passalacqua takes second. Hill falls back into third.
Honestly, the way these two in front of him have been wearing their tires off, I think Passalacqua probably has the best car in the field right now.
That's a good point. He very well might. As he closes the gap now to Zelenka, Passalacqua was able to get around Paul Hill with that push. Wasn't a very disrespectful one, thankfully. Both cars getting around in one piece. And now Passalacqua hot on the heels of first place, Bacon Zelenka, as we move in to the... As we move into... what lap are we on, boys?
45.
Lap,
and these
45,
two,
thank you.
These two have history. Passalacqua and Zelenka, and this might get interesting, but you see Paul Hill trying to knock the rear bumper cover off the 6 machine.
Can he do it?
Dive bomb down to the
6
bottom.
goes wide! What happened there? The 6 just went super wide.
He had a car to his quarter panel there.
Oh, he did. I just didn't expect him to go all the way off the track. That was a very wide reaction there from the 6 of Brendan Passalacqua, who falls back now to 4th, giving DeCiani 3rd place. Well, they're still kind of side by side. Let's see what happens here with the dive into the first turn. Or not the first turn, excuse me. We're not quite there yet. Got some lap traffic to get around here.
Oh, that's going to make it really tricky for these guys. Passalacqua had to take a way more shallow approach than he wanted to.
Big smoke out of Paul Hill, too.
DeCiani going to move back up to third position here.
You know, it's where I think he might have been destined to be. He's up 1 from where he started, but wow, does it feel like he sort of clawed his way up to get here now. DeCiani in third place, Paul Hill in second, but maybe not for long as Zelenka is getting a big push now.
Oh, Paul Hill
shoving Zelenka.
Huge lockup.
But that lockup cost Hill more than it cost Bacon.
Hill can't meet in the middle. These guys have been battling lap after lap, guys, and we're still with 15 to go, so they have not yet begun the fight.
Ooh, big wide turn there from Paul Hill after another lockup. I think Paul Hill's vehicle is starting to feel it a little bit. He might need to get some fresh tires under that thing. You might start thinking about within the next 10 laps when he's going to get that pit in.
It's too late for the tires. It's too late.
Are tires even an option at this point?
No, it's too late. You take tires, you're going to be mired back around 6th or 7th if you're lucky.
Yeah. That's fair. You've got to run like this, the way things are spread out.
And that's one reason why with these guys battling so hard like that up front, it was kind of like, well, maybe tires will become an issue.
Here comes turn number 1. A little bit of a lockup from Bacon, a bit of smoke. Not much, though. Holds on to it. The other guys behind him with similar situations. Just a little smoke as a treat. But everybody's down through turn 1 now, with everybody spreading out for the first time in a couple of laps here. The first place battle has been cooled off just a bit.
Yep, I think everybody's right now starting to get ready to get into their pit strategies. And another thing, for the guys that were not involved in the festivities, they're not going to have to spend as much time on pit road. Even though this is a splash and go situation, you know, maybe they could just get in and get out a little quicker.
That would be really wonderful. Right now, Joey Preby, let's talk a little bit about that. Preby is currently in 6th position. He is 7 seconds ahead of Patrick Gitter, who is the next closest one. So Preby, who was leading our race for a little while there, fell back, unfortunately, after a pretty good shot. Now is sitting in the 6th place position. Still in decent place, I think. Could potentially switch that position with Derek Heitman, who he's only about a second off of. But he's 7 seconds ahead of Patrick Gitter. So the rest of the field, they're gone. Our top 6, that's where the action's at right now.
Did Preby perhaps wear his tires out?
Well,
that's a good point.
I have a hunch that there might be a little bit of aggressive saving happening with that 87 machine.
Maybe. Here's a big time into 1. Paul Hill with a shot.
Oh, here's DeCiani.
Incredible. DeCiani off track. Paul Hill back on track next to DeCiani. The shot came right before the turn. The two of them went into the turn, both going wide, both back on track. Paul Hill still ahead in 3rd. DeCiani in 4th now. Oh, excuse me. Paul Hill now ahead in 3rd. DeCiani in 4th. Brandon Pasalacqua moving up into 2nd. And the battle commences yet again between Bacon Zelenka and Brandon Pasalacqua.
I mean, these guys literally have been, you know, exchanging blows like a heavyweight fight. Yeah, and it's nobody's race. I mean, right now, Bacon Zelenka has been up front, but here comes Brandon Pasalacqua again. And, well, we know these two have a little bit of a history just from this race tonight.
Absolutely. Ooh, massive shot right now from DeCiani to Hill. Massive shot.
DeCiani, none too happy about the contact between him and Hill about a half a lap ago.
No, he's got to definitely have that written in the book of grudges. He's not going to let that hold him back from getting a position back from Hill if he can take it. At this point, probably just willing to pretend that he's blinking and drive right through him. I wouldn't blame him.
Well, look who's found himself back into the fray here.
Oh, Derek
6 machine. That 6 machine to Pasalacqua.
The 6 machine. Yeah, Derek. Yeah, you're right. Brandon Pasalacqua back in the fray, back in the fight with his old rival Bacon Zelenka.
Ooh.
Hill has killed those tires, man.
Hill has gone straight late on that one. But right now, Pasalacqua is totally reeling in Bacon Zelenka.
And they got lappers in front, too.
see how well that goes on the racing line. The lappers are going to have to take some extreme moves to avoid our guys here. Let's see how that goes.
There's at least one car up there.
And the 45 is about. Well, yep, here it is. This is where it's going to get dicey. Here comes Pasalacqua. Him and Zelenka working their way through the field to the lap traffic. Zelenka going low here, trying to get by the Toyota there.
Jose
Grab the
Medina,
door number.
the 48.
Oh, man. They made it through.
Yeah,
Made it
Zelenka
through one
definitely
piece.
able to breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief that he was actually able to get through without giving an advantage to Brandon Pasalacqua. Pasalacqua definitely, he has rolled it in, but he has not been able to get close enough yet to no one has, guys.
Yeah, it's like I said, man, that dirty air. It's ridiculous with this car. We saw it all year last year on the road courses and the flat tracks and NIS and A Open, and it seems to be the hot topic here this evening.
Whoa!
Oh, but he was locked up, and that's going to be it.
That's it. That's what has to happen.
Pasalacqua.
Sayonara, Bacon Zelenka. Brendan Pasalacqua, for the first time, I believe, tonight, leads this race.
Yeah, he definitely fought hard to get up there. Guys, it was what I was getting ready to say. It seems in order to take the leader out, he has to take himself out. It's hard to get around him.
Here's a question. Zelenka, you see him closing up through the S's. Is he going to be able to make a stab at it, or are those tires too far tethered after all those lockups?
They're gone. They're gone. You just see what just happened? He's waggling. I just think Zelenka's got too much butter
DeCiani
on
around.
those tires.
He tried to get to the back of Paul Hill, and I think he got the car a little loaded up on the front.
Yeah, I think you're running into a situation now where tires are done and fuel is near.
You've also got to think, too, you got all that marble out on the track, all the little dust, dirt, grass, all that stuff built up. Traction is basically at a premium right now, and yeah, you just got a little too deep into the corner on the back bumper of the 26.
Plus, these cars are really light right about now as well.
Mm-hmm.
Heitman moves up to fourth. Here at the front, Pasalacqua holding off. Bacon Zelenka coming up through. Getting ready to cross the start-finish line. Getting ready to start lap 51. We have less than 10 laps to go in tonight's race, the Texas de Brazil 156.
Oh, and here comes a deep dive bomb from the 45. Is he going to be able to stick it? No, and a crossover from Pasalacqua, and they're touching. Huge shot, just about got him turned around. The Pasalacqua was going to hold on to the S's.
But
Or into the S's. It ain't over yet.
Look at the
Another
aggression
shot.
from the 45, guys.
That's the only word for it. That is the only word for it. He is giving him shot after shot after shot.
Yeah, he's been beating the dog food out of him here the past couple laps.
I just don't think it's going to be forgotten, and I do believe that
Here comes the other one.
Brandon will definitely return the favor.
I mean, you got it at this point.
I think so.
And I'm
Once he's got
all
to see.
about I'm all about spirited competition. I love bumpers and fenders,
Ooh.
Oh,
Something just
Pasalacqua
happened
kind
there.
of giving it up there.
Yeah. He did. He almost just handed it to Zelenka. Zelenka sailed by on the outside there, sneaking through on one of those quick turns. And Brendan Pasalacqua falls back into second.
I think it was one of those
going on there?
situations where he didn't want to get wrecked. I mean, we still got, 10 laps to go here, 9 laps to go. I mean, he doesn't want to get taken out. I mean, what do you think?
Well, you better
I
get up
think
on the range
you
and
should've-
figure out what you're going to do, because you got Hill lurking back there waiting in the wings.
I wouldn't have waited. I wouldn't have tried to give that position to him. I would have made him fight for it. If you want to take it, you got to turn me for it.
That's just my speculation.
I think
I mean,
it was
it's-
probably spot on.
I mean, it's definitely a high IQ move. We've seen a lot of smart decisions made out of that 6 car tonight, but I don't know. I think it might be too late.
This guy's still got to stop for some petrol.
That's true. We have 8 laps to go, and the question mark is out. These guys, out of all the people on the road course tonight, haven't saved a drop of gas. So if anybody has blown the estimate of fuel, it's going to have to be Zelenko, Pasalacqua, and Hill, and probably DeCiani in there too. So let's see when that pit stop comes, because I guess they're going to assume that most of the field will pit with them.
I don't know. I don't know if you're a preebie and a getter. Maybe you don't have to. You know, maybe you can actually get by without having to go down to get the splash and go.
Oh, man, that would be wild.
Well, those guys be hanging back so far.
I mean, they really have been.
That's true. Well, we've only got a few more laps left to find out. Officially speaking, 8 laps left to go in tonight's race. Folks, thank you for joining us. Once again, if you've been following the races so far, it's been nice to have you. If you're joining us for the first time, it's even nicer to have you joining us for the action. We do this every week, so be sure to tune in. Down across the start-finish line goes Bacon Zelenko once more up into turn 1 with Brandon Pasalacqua on his heels, but he's not making a move right now. Both of them just trying to survive the first turn. Zelenko, a little bit of smoke into turn 1, but not too much. Keeps it on the track. Pasalacqua right behind him. The two of them are going to hold on to it as we come on down that hill and keep on rolling.
Pasalacqua with a huge charge to the S's to get right back to the back bumper of Zelenko in the 45. Is he going to use the bumper here? He just about wasn't able to get to hook up, though.
Very close. Yeah, he wanted it. I feel like now the competition might be coming back into the 6 machine. Can he do it? Can he stay tight on Bacon Zelenko? And for the last couple laps, he's held back a little bit, maybe. But now we're going to see him maybe look for position yet again to see if he can take the first place spot.
I'll tell you what, though, it is going to be difficult because that 45 is still doing exactly what he was doing earlier. That was talking so highly of running really wide entries and arcs to get the most out of this car. Get that extra little bit of rotation through center, and it's paying dividends for him. You see how hard it is to the technical sections of this track for that 6 machine to get the power down to get to him.
Yeah, it really is. There's just not a lot of options.
But it's just time. This is the time for him to actually go and return the favor. You know, I think he's right where he wants to be, and he's going to run right behind Zelenko. I just couldn't have him behind
right here.
So
Look at
many
him.
laps.
All over the back bumper coming into turn number 1.
Yeah, there he is.
And here comes the shot, and around goes the 45.
That was returning the favor.
The shot heard round the world. Bacon Zelenko falls back to 3rd, Paul Hill's in 2nd, and Brandon Pasalacqua, the dastardly one, up in front, sending it right back. After getting spun earlier a little bit, he sends it right back to Bacon Zelenko, and the 3 of them resume the chase here.
And honestly speaking, no bias at all here. That I feel like that was justified. Because that 45 was beating the brakes off of that 6 car in those first few stages.
I mean, I'm just saying that was probably one of the best moves we've seen all night.
That was a great move. Honestly, it was full contact, but it was justifiable. It was well executed at the right moment, and just to be honest, it kept the other car still racing, even if it pushed him off the track a little bit. I like to see the other guy able to get back and keep the fight going. So we got Bacon Zelenko back on the track in 3rd.
Well, we've seen the 45 come through that corner and maintain the lead at about that same angle with no help from behind.
And honestly, I'm going to say
this.
And I mean this sincerely. It couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
That's fair. You're absolutely right, though, Sheldon. We've seen him at several different acute and obtuse angles hitting these corners here as they come down, crossing the line. Only 5 laps left in tonight's race. Ooh.
I'll tell you what, these 3 have just put on one hell of a show from start to finish here.
I gotta say, they really have. We gotta give it up for Paul Hill staying up in front and battling it out throughout all of this. He led a lot of the early race, but after that, he's been forced to fight for the crown, and fight he has. Brandon Pasalacqua and Benkin Zelenka, the rivalry behind him or next to him or in front of him, depending on where he's been. That has been a hell of a rivalry tonight. And then to everybody who's come up through the ranks to that 4th and 5th slot, who has subsequently challenged things. We're talking about Preeby, we're talking DeCiani, and now we're talking about Derek Heitman. Things can definitely change for anybody here, and this top 5 has been one of the hottest top 5 I've ever seen race the Circuit of the Americas.
Oh, don't hold your breath. Don't count them before they hatch, because that 26 machine is getting himself closer and closer to the back bumper. That 6 every corner.
Oh, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Brandon Pasalacqua hits the curb. Ooh, almost hits the turtle there a little bit. That would have been disastrous. Don't want to see that.
A little bit of a wiggle out of Paul Hill there out of the last corner.
Yeah,
give somebody the advantage to Pasalacqua here.
All right, I think fuel's no longer an issue.
At this point, probably not. If you're pitting at this point, you're saying sayonara to the end of the race. Oh, small slip from Brandon Pasalacqua coming down that hill. Just a little one, though. We know that hill's good for these S's.
Yeah, Pasalacqua holding on really strong here through the S's. Loses a little bit of time to Hill, but not as much as we've seen out of others.
And there's the official 5 laps to go. Excuse me. Now I want to make sure I'm on the reading the right time here. With Hill on the heels of Pasalacqua. Zelenka falling back a little bit here. I do think his tires are probably cooked at this point.
And it's hard to be big when you're not out front. I mean, we've seen that. And Kenny Powell's in the way. Sorry, Kenny.
There goes Kenny. See you, Kenny. In that ISCA livery. Once again, thank you to Texas State Brazil for sponsoring tonight's race as we go past Kenny Powell there.
Like I said
and
earlier,
Pasalacqua.
Kenny's mind at this point is just on the desert.
It's just on the desert, just looking ahead.
It's just on the desert.
Yeah, I've been a little hard on Kenny, but that's just me rubbing him. He had a hard week with this track coming into it. I don't think road courses are his thing.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. Hey, that's the case for me. It's the case for a lot of us probably. But with only a couple of laps left to go, how do you see things shaking up here, Big Al?
Man, honestly, if fuel is not a factor and savings were not an issue, then this is going to go Brandon Pasalacqua's way. The only reason that I could figure that those guys were staying back was to save and conserve, but if not, maybe they're just used up and he's going to run away with it.
I'm just wondering what Paul Hill has to say about things.
Hard to pass here, folks.
Yeah, but one small mistake out of Pasalacqua, and we've seen how aggressive these guys are with the bumper. Paul Hill's made mental note of the fact that the 6 machine and the 45 are not afraid to use the chrome horn. Sometimes you want to, if you see everybody else using that, you decide you want to throw that same hook out.
The chrome horn. I've got a chrome horn right here, actually. Is that the one that he used?
No, that one was brass.
No.
There's a different one.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That's not the chrome horn. Okay. Sorry about that, folks.
Yeah, he used the one on the front of the car. But just want to say, man, before we bring this thing down, but heads up to all the drivers. Awesome that we had a 30-car field. You usually don't get that on a road course, especially one that that the game hadn't run before. So, I mean, yeah, great showing on a Thursday night here for the ISCA.
Oh, I can second that. Really enjoy seeing it. Great showing. ISCA always has a great field and did not let down yet again. 30-car field to get things started at COTA. Way to go. Good start We're still in the beginning of the season, so it's really good to see everybody out and supporting the ISCA here and watching things. And to the fans, thanks for watching at home, too. You're also part of that number. So go on and let your friends know that we got the best in live iRacing.
Yeah, and if you know somebody that's got a, greater than 5K I rating that wants to come out and race competitively, see Kenny Powell. His information is going to be in the comments here, and come on out, man, and join the fun. Be a part of the action.
That's the way to do it. Coming down 3 laps to go. We are almost at the end of lap 58 here. Just getting ready to start it. Eyes on Pasalacqua, who now has a pretty sizable little gap on Paul Hill. I say that, it's 1 second, but that's the biggest gap they've had all night. I think Paul Hill is happy where he's at. Unless he's going to absolutely, change his tune in the next two laps. I think we're going to see the end of this. We've got the end of this race pretty well written right now. The closest battle we've got right now is actually the battle between Zelenka, DeCiani, and Heitman. DeCiani and Heitman are within about 0.6 of each other, very close right now. That could still switch up. We could see Derek Heitman making his way up into the 4th place position before the end of this race. Entirely possible. DeCiani is just behind Zelenka as well.
Yeah, I think Heitman is making a late race charge.
I will tell you guys, when I mentioned earlier in the race that I was curious to see what that 6 machine of Pasalacqua would do if it got clean air. This is that hunch I had.
Yep. Yeah, he just took it away. Absolutely taking it away. So we got eyes on DeCiani looking at Zelenka right now. Zelenka falling back a little bit again on those buttery tires, like we said, so he can become a little bit more of a target for some of those cars a little bit further back. Right in front of him is going to be one of the lap cars, I believe. And there he goes off the track, giving them some space. Paul Hill in 2nd, and Brandon Pasalacqua in 1st. We got nice long laps here at COTA, so it's still going to be a little bit before we get down to that white flag here. As Pasalacqua comes around, there's only one chance for Paul Hill, and that's for catastrophic failure on the part of Brendan Pasalacqua. The hand of God to come out and just let him right out of existence, or him to lock up his tires, or his computer to shut down. We'll see what happens.
He's praying. Oh, he's praying.
Yeah, he's praying to whoever's going to listen at this point. And here comes some lap traffic. That lap traffic's going to squeal and go wide. But they are going to form a pretty good block there for a second. Paul Hill going wide again. Pasalacqua gets a little bit of a recompense, a little bit of a breather, as the lap traffic can provide a little bit of a buffer between him and the oncoming Paul Hill. This is it, folks. This is the final lap now. Through the S's they go. Pasalacqua leading things. Paul Hill behind by 1 second, 0.17 right now. It's been a good one. It's been a long one. 60 laps at COTA, 3 stages. Paul Hill did win one of those stages, so he's already got a little bit of points under his belt for tonight's race. But Pasalacqua had to come up through Bacon Zelenka, one of his shortest but greatest rivalries, I guess, from tonight. And then Paul Hill was the previous leader, and he's still challenging him from 2nd place, but it's going to look like Brandon Pasalacqua coming down towards the flag. Paul Hill in 2nd, Bacon Zelenka in 3rd. Couple more turns, and it's going to be the end of things for the Texas de Brazil 156.
Looks like Bacon Zelenka has his hands full with Matt DeCiani. This battle right here is raging. It's definitely going to come down to the last turns. These guys have been swapping paint. Oh, DeCiani's off, but here comes Eric Heitman. He's going to throw his hat in the ring. Look at that.
Oh, Zelenka's going to fall back. We are 2 wide. At the line, let's see what happens. Is it DeCiani or Heitman?
That's a heck of a finish for those guys.
Wow. Computer says DeCiani there by a nose. Barely ahead. Impressive situation from everybody. And there is your winner, Brandon Pasalacqua. Congratulations, Brandon. Let's give you the full results here, folks, as everybody's coming across the line. Your top 10 from tonight's race. Brandon Pasalacqua, Paul Hill in second, Matt DeCiani in third, Derek Heitman in fourth, Joey Preby in fifth, Bacon Zelenka in sixth, down from where he was battling it out for the first place position, from where he was in first place. Patrick Gitter in seventh, Vincent Crow in eighth, Tim Wortman Jr. in ninth, and Josh Schaffner in 10th. Take it away, Big Al.
Brandon Pasalacqua, Greg Wojcinski is going to come across in 11th. Brian Johnson, 12th. 13th shows John Bender, Ryan Strunk in 14th. Kevin Zosiak in 15th. 16th, Mark Sanchez. 17th place shows Alexander Carr. 18th place, Jose Medina. Greg Carr 19th. And Randy Drumhiller rounds out the top 20.
And bringing it home in 21st is going to be J.C. Evans, followed by Chuck Burley in 22nd. 23rd is going to go to Kenny Powell, followed by Jeremy Clapper Newell in 24th. 25th, Dave Hughes Jr., followed by Paul Olson in 26th. 27th, unfortunate break for Clayton Hoffman, followed by 29th, Matthew Cessna. And then rounding out your 30-car field is going to be Eric Kling and David Gervais.
Phew! I feel like I need a breather after that one. It really didn't feel like it calmed down at all at any point during that race. But we've got a few people to talk to now after things are calming down here. And we got a few racers that we're going to all split up. And we're going to do it like this. Sheldon, you're going to talk to Matt DeCiani. Big Al, you're going to talk to Paul Hill. And I'll once again speak with Brendan Pasalacqua and see how he feels after the race. How about that?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right, perfect. So let's see. I've got Matt DeCiani here. I'm going to move him up, and we'll get. Actually, you know what we'll do? Let's take a quick commercial break before we do that. Everybody needs to breathe out and stretch their limbs. So we'll do a commercial break first, and then we'll come back and we'll talk to some of our racers.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Experience traditional Brazilian cuisine, served with the hospitality that Texas is famous for. Here at Texas de Brazil, you simply turn your card to green, and expert carvers serve you fine cuts of beef, lamb, pork, chicken, and Brazilian sausage. Turn your card to red when you want a break. Then repeat. Make reservations now at texasdebrazil.com.
Welcome back, folks, to the ISCA Live Texas Day Brazil 156 post-game show, post-race show. That's what we're doing. This wasn't a game. This was a race. This is a post-race show. I'm Jolo, joined in the booth with Big Al and Sheldon Atkins, and we are now going to talk to some of the racers from tonight's race. Let's recap. Brandon Pasalacqua in first, Paul Hill in second, Matt DiCiani in third. We're going to work our way back up that ladder, starting with Matt DiCiani, chatting with Sheldon Atkins. Go ahead and take it away, Sheldon.
Hey, Matt, Sheldon here. Another week, another podium. Great finish for you. This week, though, it really felt like you had to work for it a lot harder than you did last week. Talk me through your race a little bit.
Yeah, kind of just managed incidents early in the race. Kind of made some adjustments on the pit stop with just these track conditions, and honestly, I felt like that second half of the last stage, I felt like I had a really good shot to win that race. So then I got up to, was racing Paul for second, and just got my nose taken off on entry, and that just screwed me. But yeah, it happens. I overheated my tires after that, lost my cool, and just kind of cascaded from there. But, you know, I don't know. I think Bacon ran on a fuel or was saving fuel hard at the end because he was really fast all night. But, you know, congrats to Brandon, man. He's been so strong at these road courses over the last few years. I'm finally glad he got one. He really deserved it.
Yeah, no, definitely on that. I do have to ask, though, you know, sitting up here in the booth, you know, from a driver's standpoint, it looked like you guys are really dealing with a lot of dirty air issues, at least, you know, clean air advantage to the lead car. How bad is it out there? Because it looked like somebody would get up to second place and they just wouldn't be able to do a single thing with the leader.
I don't feel like it's dirty air, more so than you can, being the leader, you can kind of park guys' entry and, you know, center the corner, so it's really hard to set up a pass that way. I didn't feel like dirty air really affected the car much outside of the few right-handers that, you know, in the left two left-handers of the track. But I mean, outside of that, everything through the S's, I didn't feel like dirty air had much of a factor.
Okay. And also, how did you feel about the new version, the new layout to COTA? Because this was definitely something crazy to watch up here tonight.
Yeah, I like it. It's pretty active. There's no brakes. I mean, this isn't the real version we're going to be running, or the real life's going to be running, and it's slightly altered from this, so they don't have to deal with that little kink through the cut through there. Guess if you want to call that the backstretch, but yeah, it kind of sucks though with the incidents here, because if you put even an inch of that tire on the red and through there, you get in 1X. So that alone is difficult to manage.
Well, man, thanks for coming up here and talking to us. Would like to know who all do you want to thank for this third place performance tonight?
Yeah, thanks for you guys for calling the race. Kenny for putting on the league. Fortis for working on the set this week. And yeah, thanks guys.
All right. Well, I'm going to hand it over to Big Al up here in the booth with our second place finisher, Paul Hill.
Paul Hill, Big Al up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, Big Al.
Hey, once again, boss, it's me and you. This time, though, you came in number 2, but you give it everything you got. Let's talk about it. You were running really hard, so the first question that I got for you is track position. Is it as important as it looked like it was?
Oh, it's everything. It's paramount. I thought I played my cards after that fumble there on second stage pretty well to pit on, you know, the second stage break there and just take fuel and risk making the tires last a little bit longer than I've done all week. But Clayton stayed out, and so he got to kind of lead us off the start there, and deciding the pace on green flag into that turn 1 is everything. And, you know, I don't even know what happened to him. It looked like he locked him up, and then that was that. But he got to kind of set the pace, wasn't able to do anything, and was kind of on my heels from there on, and just passing here is impossible. First and foremost, I do want to apologize to Matt. I never even saw him when he was talking about getting his nose chopped off. I probably did, but I never saw him or even got a call out until like we hit each other into one, and then I was like sideways and he was sideways. So, you know, I'll take the blame on that, but I never got a call out that he was on my inside, and I think I did just come across him taking my arc into one. So I want to apologize to him. I know it looks like he was able to rebound and still get third, but that wasn't my intention into that turn. I never knew he was out on my inside trying to make the pass there. I would have given him a bit more space, but it is what it is. Passing here is impossible, I feel like. I mean, I was beating the back bumper off of Bacon for I don't know how many laps there in the third stage. And I mean, unless you just absolutely clean someone out, I mean, a bump and run doesn't even really work here anymore with this new track layout. It's rough, to say the least, at Big Al.
So I had two more questions. One is going to be, it didn't seem that you guys were conserving fuel. So did you know already once you come out of stage 2 that you were not going to have to save fuel and you were going to make it to the end?
Yeah, the gearing I put in the car this week was a fuel-saving gear. And so all I had to do was clutch into one for like 3 laps there at the first start of the race when I was kind of getting the tires back up to temp, and I was going to be good by about half a lap. So I didn't really have to think about it too much. I could just focus on the racing and the cars in front of me, thankfully. But I'm sure there was a couple guys with different gears. This track this week, it has unlocked gear ratios, so all sorts of different gears can be picked and set in the cars.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot of guys were towing with gears. You were running a 5th gear set?
No, sir, a fourth gear. So I only shifted up to 4th.
Okay, 4th gear set. And the next tires were tires an issue?
Near the end there, the last 10 laps, for sure. It was definitely getting tight. The front end was overheated, but I think that was mostly from me and Matt getting tangled up and my car sliding all over the place. But, the first 2 stages, it still felt really good.
Awesome, bud. Next week, I think we head to Las Vegas. Is that correct? Yeah. Phoenix. Okay, the other desert. So next week, we're headed to Phoenix. Are you excited, and you got any predictions or goals for next week in the desert?
Just survive, to be honest, and get a top 10. Phoenix is definitely one of my weaker tracks, personally. Never got along with it. So I'm just going to try to keep my nose clean, not cause any issues, and hopefully walk away with the top 10 that week.
Roger that, boss. Good luck to you next week. Congratulations for you this week for bringing it home in P2. Who you shouting out tonight for your 2nd place finish?
Densler, of course. Boys over there. I want to thank Chad Sanner. He helped me kind of run laps and set this setup up this week, and so I want to shout him out. But yeah, I think that's it.
All right, boss. As I always say, don't party too hard, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, sir.
All right, and I'll take things back. Thank you very much, Big Al. And we're going to talk to tonight's winner, Brandon Pasalacqua. Brandon, how are you tonight?
I'm well, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. You had a very intense race tonight. You had an absolute rivalry with Bacon Zelenka that lasted the entire duration of the race. We couldn't stop talking about it tonight. Is that something that you were feeling too from the beginning?
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be. I don't like really racing like that, but like Paul said, and it's super hard to pass here, and came into the race, just wanted to bide my time, and if I did have a little bit more better pace in the car ahead of me, give them a couple bump taps, and hopefully they let me go. And yeah, Bacon definitely knew how to get around this track and put his car in the right spot, and yeah, he didn't care for my message, so it was hard racing the whole night.
Yeah, with Paul in the middle of the mix between the two of you guys had your hands absolutely full. But you started in 3rd, you moved up 2 positions to 1st by the end of the race, and then for those last couple of laps, were you feeling the heat from Paul Hill?
Yeah, I felt the heat from the 26 the whole race. Like, there's a couple times where we switched positions, and I thought he was letting me go to have my chance at the 45, but then he was bumping, and then the 26 was hitting my bumper. So I let him go. So yeah, I mean, he put a lot of pressure on me all night, and again, I think I said in the stage 2 interview, it's like just going to run my pace and then hopefully have a car at the end. And luckily things played out, but yeah, it's these races with this league, it's rare, and just happy the dominoes fell my way tonight.
Yeah, well, the dominoes fell in your way, and you played them all very expertly. Congratulations again. Are you looking forward to going to the desert next week?
Yes, yes. Phoenix is a good track there. Obviously, it's our championship, and we were fighting for a championship there last year. It was just a little bit off in terms of whether it's driver talent or setup last year. So, going to use the next week as a test session in case we're fortunate enough to make it to the Final Four again, way down the road.
Marvelous. Well, thank you for your time tonight. Congratulations on your victory. And is there anybody I think we already asked you for a shout out earlier. Did you change any of that between earlier and now?
Well, we can add a couple people and run it back. Just want to give a shout out to Matt DiCiani. Always a pleasure racing with him, and he is the road course king in the league. So as soon as he passed me, I thought it was over for sure. But him and Paul got tangled up a little bit. So just shout out to him. Shout out to Paul. He's jumped in the league last year and just started blazing. Was super quick on the road courses, and like I said before, I said it usually came down to the three of us. So good for him. Shout out to OB Builders, Door and Trim, Ram Welding and Fabrication, and my guys at Paradigm. You guys in the booth, and Kenny for the league.
All right. Thank you very much, Brandon. Take care. Have a good rest of your night.
You too. Thank you.
And that was our race winner, Brandon Pasalacqua. And that's going to wrap things up here. Let's get some final thoughts, though. Big Al, how you feeling after tonight's race?
Man, feeling pretty good. I felt a little rusty. Felt like I've been out of the seat for a while, but hopefully we'll shake that off. But, man, what a show, what a production. Thank you, Joe, for giving me a spot here in the booth between you and Sheldon. Thanks, Sheldon, for pitching in where you did, man. Thanks, Kobe, for making everything happen behind the scenes. People just don't really understand what goes down. Thanks, Kenny, for giving us the opportunity. Thanks for the drivers for giving us something to talk about. And thanks for all of the viewers for watching.
I love to hear it. And Sheldon,
and
thank God. How you feeling, Sheldon?
Just felt like we saw one of the best road course races I've ever had the opportunity to call here on iRacing. It's mind-boggling that after 60 laps, you still had 4 cars under a blanket all battling for the same piece of real estate within just a handful of seconds of each other. So if that doesn't get you hooked on ISCA, I don't know what will. Excited to get up here in the booth next week and call him from Phoenix. How about you, Joe? What you got to say?
I think what you said was extremely well said, both of yous. And so I'll just keep it short and sweet. Wow. Yeah, I called the road race here earlier. It was pretty good. This one raised the bar just that much. And it sets me up for even more exciting racing, even more exciting road racing later this season. The ISCA's got a little bit of everything, folks. So be sure to spread the word. Thanks again to Kenny Powell for setting this up. Thank you to Texas Day Brazil for sponsoring, to iRacing and Butt Kicker as well. I am Joe LaCastro, joined here by Big Al and Sheldon Atkins and Kobe down in the booth, down in the truck. We want to thank you guys for watching tonight. Take care. Have a good rest of your night. Goodbye from the ISCA Live.
I found the ISCA after I'd been in the service for a long time. I'd been in iRacing for well over a decade and spent most of my time in NASCAR series, a lot of fixed racing for the most part, and really just got to a point in my iRacing career where I really wanted to get involved in open setup racing versus fixed, partially because I was just looking for a little higher level of competition, maybe a little cleaner driving, and maybe get away from some of the challenges that go along with fixed racing on the service. And it took me a while as I was really searching out leagues, because I kind of had a very specific thing I was looking for. A, I wanted to be an established league. B, I just really wanted clean, quality drivers to be racing around. And once I found the ISCA, I found out really quick that it was going to check all those boxes, and I